Chapter 532, The beauty of the Tang clan. Lin Feng was speechless. Lan Jiao liked to cause problems. Besides, she had said that people from Dragon Mountain could see other people's cultivation level with a glance. That was incredible. They could immediately know if they could compete with others or not. Unfortunately, that technique was unknown in Shuiyu. Those three guards glared at Lin Feng. One could see that they despised Lin Feng. Lin Feng wasn't from Dragon Mountain and he didn't even know what the Celestial Eyes technique was. They didn't need to be scared of him. Since you are together, I will first take care of the girl and then I will come take care of you. The Celestial Palace is not a place where you can come to cause trouble, shouted the guard of the 8th floor. Immediately after, he looked at Lan Jiao again and his hand started moving at full speed, creating a hurricane around it. Get down from here, shouted the old man at Lan Jiao. His hand was about to reach her, but instead of moving, she remained motionless and closed her eyes. She looked like she was waiting to die. You're crazy, shouted Lin Feng at Lan Jiao. He transformed into a beam of light, and in a flash, arrived next to them. Stop! Shouted the two other guards when they saw Lin Feng arrive. They immediately released some physical strength and moved towards Lin Feng. Get lost! Shouted Lin Feng while releasing some monstrously deadly qi which immediately enveloped their bodies. Their facial expressions drastically changed in the blink of an eye. How strong! That deadly energy was scary. Bzzzzz. A buzzing sound emerged in front of them. They were stupefied. Lin Feng passed by them at the speed of light. They didn't have any time to react. Bzzzzz. Another buzzing sound spread in the air. The two guards turned around and saw that Lin Feng had blocked the old man, whose hand was in Lin Feng's palm and had stopped moving. He was only one step away from Lan Jiao but couldn't move forwards anymore. A strong wind was making Lan Jiao's hair float in the air. The guard of the 8th floor was stupefied and blankly staring at his own fist in Lin Feng's palm. The young man in front of him had only broken through to the 3rd Xian Qi layer and could stop his punch with the palm of his hand only. How? Get lost! Shouted the old man furiously. He couldn't believe his eyes. He then released a monstrous pure qi out of his hand. A strong wind was blowing all around. Lin Feng looked at him in an ice-cold way and said, Get lost. Then, Lin Feng released some monstrous physical strength in his fist. Crackling sounds spread in the air and the guard of the 8th floor sensed a terrible pain in his hand. His bones were cracking and that physical strength spread into his body. He couldn't block it and his body immediately flew away. He crashed onto the wall. Cough cough. He coughed violently and blood splashed out of his mouth. There was even more blood than a moment before when Lan Jiao coughed blood. He was fixedly staring at Lin Feng. What a terrifying physical strength. Lin Feng hadn't even used pure qi strength but had managed to make him fly away. Was he really of the 3rd Xian Qi layer? The two other guards were also stupefied. Lin Feng was very strong. They didn't know that Lin Feng's attack was heartless. Before arriving in Dragon Mountain, Lin Feng had practiced his rotation of the Haruka's strength skill. He had made his body even more resistant and powerful. His strength could now make even more rotations, 4,000. He could easily crush cultivators of the 4th Xian Qi layer. Lin Feng hadn't even used his entire strength at that moment. Hee hee. Lan Jiao giggled and grabbed Lin Feng's arm. Lin Feng was puzzled. Your Excellency, you can enter the room of the 8th floor, but she can't, she's too weak, said the guard of the 8th floor. Lin Feng had injured him and thus proved that he could enter that area. I am his wife. We are obviously entering together, declared Lan Jiao naturally. Lin Feng was stupefied. Since when was Lan Jiao his wife? The guard looked startled. He didn't know what to do. But then a voice spread in the air. Let them in, said that voice in a soft, natural and indifferent way. The guard of the 8th floor was stupefied. He then nodded and said to them, You can enter, both of you. Lin Feng and Lan Jiao glanced at each other. Lan Jiao was smiling in a resplendent way while she dragged Lin Feng inside the room of the 8th floor. The top floor was different from the other floors. There was only one gigantic table there. People would sit in circle together at that table on that floor. Some people were already sitting and all had a glass of alcohol in front of them. 3rd Xian Qi layer and 1st Xian Qi layer. When Lan Jiao and Lin Feng entered, the crowd glanced at them for a second to see their cultivation level. They were surprised. Even though they were surprised, it didn't last long. That cultivator of the 3rd Xian Qi layer had defeated the guard of the 4th Xian Qi layer. It was rare but not that unusual. They didn't believe Lin Feng was too strong. Lan Jiao, apart from her beauty, was insignificant in their eyes though. Lan Jiao's cultivation level was too low. Lin Feng glanced at them. Those people were all very young and all had sharp facial expressions. Their qi was incredible. They had all broken through to the 4th Xian Qi layer at least. There wasn't a single weakling. A person in particular caught Lin Feng's attention. It was a young girl. She looked cold, elegant and educated. She was probably the member of a wealthy and noble family. She was extremely beautiful while sitting on the main seat. She certainly had a lot of influence. She was from the Tang clan. She was one of the 3 most famous young cultivators of Celestial Dragon, Tang Yuyu. Tang Yuyu glanced at Lin Feng and Lan Jiao and said, "Qing Meng Xian, did she ask you to come?" Qing Meng Xian was a girl from the Cosmic Pavilion. She was the strongest cultivator of the Cosmic Pavilion. She was also one of the most outstanding young cultivators of Celestial Dragon, just like Tang Yuyu. Did Qing Meng Xian ask her to come? Asked the crowd while looking at Lan Jiao. The crowd was curious, especially seeing how she had come with an unknown person, Lin Feng. "We're both from the Cosmic Pavilion," said Lan Jiao, but Tang Yuyu didn't believe her. Tang Yuyu asked indifferently, "Is it that simple?" "Who do you think asked me then?" said Lan Jiao. "At least, I know that you both practice the same skills." "If you weren't related at all, she wouldn't have given you that skill," replied Tang Yuyu while looking at Lan Jiao. The crowd was astonished. Tang Yuyu could see what kind of skill Lan Jiao was practicing. How amazing! Lan Jiao looked at Tang Yuyu. She had already heard about the prodigious daughter of the Tang clan. Tang Yuyu could see her skills at first glance. "Your Excellency, where are you from? Even though you are not a weak cultivator, my celestial palace is not the best place to cause trouble," said Tang Yuyu while looking at Lin Feng. People who dared force the way like that were rare. "Lin Feng, from Shuiyu," replied Lin Feng. The crowd was stupefied. Lin Feng was from Shuiyu, a country under the jurisdiction of Dragon Mountain. "Are you going to participate to the great competition of Shuiyu?" asked Tang Yuyu. She was also going to participate to the great competition, so she knew about it. She planned to compete with the other geniuses. Lin Feng nodded and in a flash, everybody's facial expression drastically changed. The young man who had forced the way into Celestial Palace was going to participate to the great competition. They would have never thought such a thing. And he was so young. Chapter 533, Soul Spring Liquor. Being able to participate at the great competition of Shuiyu already proved that Lin Feng was an outstanding cultivator in Shuiyu. He definitely stood out. Of course, the most outstanding cultivators of Shuiyu weren't respected in Dragon Mountain. In Celestial Dragon, there were many outstanding disciples, especially those selected to participate to the great competition of Shuiyu. They thought that the outstanding cultivators of the countries under the jurisdiction of the empire were worthless. They were extremely proud and refused to accept that some people who came from Shuiyu could be as strong as them. A small country like Shuiyu is participating in the great competition and they only chose tiny little cultivators of the 3rd Xian Qi layer. "Is Shuiyu that desperate?" said a young person in white clothes while looking at Lin Feng. That cultivator didn't even glance at Lin Feng. He despised him. When the others heard that person, they remained silent and looked at Lin Feng. He had broken through to the 3rd Xian Qi layer. even if he could fight against cultivators of the 4th Xianqi layer, he really shouldn't be able to participate to the great competition of Shuiyu. Cultivators of the 3rd Xianqi layer were, during the great competition, the weakest ones. Lin Feng's facial expression was ice-cold. But that mockery also made him think. Indeed, the 3rd Xianqi layer was too low. Even amongst the others from Shuiyu who had been chosen to participate were of the 4th Xianqi layer. Besides, they had particular fighting abilities, they had no problem defeating normal cultivators of the 4th Xianqi layer. In order to really feel at ease during the great competition of Shuiyu, one had to be at least of the 5th Xianqi layer. I don't know if Shuiyu is full of incapable cultivators, but considering what you just said, I assume you will also participate to the great competition of Shuiyu? Lin Feng remained silent, but Lan Jiao spoke for him. She was looking at the one who had just humiliated Lin Feng and her voice was ice-cold. She sounded like she was making fun of him. My country, the Dragon Mountain Empire, is different from Shuiyu, which is a tiny country dominated by us. I have broken through to the 4th Xianqi layer, but I could never be selected to participate in the great competition of Shuiyu. In Dragon Mountain, we are not like Shuiyu, we have many other stronger cultivators. Said that young person with assurance and composure, pouring out words in a steady flow. Bullshit. You are just too weak to participate to the great competition of Shuiyu, that's all. You're just trying to find high-sounding excuses, nothing more. I admire you, being able to talk such bullshit is amazing, said Lan Jiao mockingly. The crowd was stupefied. You are so weak that you were not even chosen to participate to the great competition of Shuiyu and you dare make fun of someone who has, how shameless. Continued Lan Jiao. That person was absolutely astonished. Little sister Tang Yuyu, we came to the 8th floor, shouldn't you prepare something for us? Said Lan Jiao, ignoring the other one while looking at Tang Yuyu. Of course. Said Tang Yuyu. She stretched her arm and showed Lin Feng and Lan Jiao 2 seats, please, sit down. Lan Jiao was rude, she pulled Lin Feng's arm and made him sit down. There were 10 people at the table, they all had sharp lights in their eyes while looking at Lin Feng. Lin Feng, Tang Yuyu actually rarely comes here. It is your first time and surprisingly, she's here too. We are lucky to meet such a great person from Dragon Mountain. Said Lan Jiao at that moment while smiling. Tang Yuyu giggled and said, what are you talking about? I am the one who's honored to see a genius from Shuiyu. Besides, you will taste the liquor made by my clan, the Tang clan, please have a drink, it is my treat. While talking, Tang Yuyu touched the table and in a flash, some alcohol appeared in front of Lin Feng appearing out of the cleft again. It smelt strange, somewhat sweet. Lin Feng had never smelt such a thing. What a strange thing. Thought Lin Feng, stupefied. That was the 8th floor, how had it appeared so fast? Lin Feng and Lan Jiao were 2 people but there was only 1 drink as if Lan Jiao had been ignored. After all, Lan Jiao was just accompanying Lin Feng, she hadn't come relying on her own strength. Lin Feng, the Tang clan are the best alchemists in Dragon Mountain, nobody can surpass them. They have always been the best. Besides, their liquor contains Ling-level pills, they can make 9 different sorts of liquors with different effects but they are all extremely beneficial to people. Since this is the first time you have come to the 8th floor, you can drink it free of charge. Next time you must pay, and the price is terrifying. But besides here you can't get it anywhere else. Explained Lan Jiao to Lin Feng. Then she continued, Lin Feng, it is your first time here so you get to try it, and on top of that, you are sitting with Tang Yuyu, you are extremely lucky. You understand a lot about my Tang clan and the Celestial Palace. We indeed have 9 sorts of liquor, the one Lin Feng has in front of him right now is a soul spring liquor, it doesn't make you stronger but it completely cleans and purifies your soul. It enables a cultivator to penetrate into a mysterious dimension of cultivation. Explained Tang Yuyu. That liquor could clean the soul. Everybody looked excited around the table, they were all staring at Lin Feng's glass. cleaning the soul and enabling people to penetrating into a mysterious cultivation dimension. That was exciting. Lin Feng grabbed his glass and looked and smelt it, but suddenly a monstrous amount of qi immediately moved towards him. Very quickly, Lin Feng had the feeling that his soul had frozen. The ice-cold qi of several people was attacking him. Put it down. Kacha. Two sounds spread in the air. Someone hit the table with their hand and a terrible pure qi flowed on it towards Lin Feng. It was extremely quick, everything happened in a flash. Humph. Lin Feng groaned coldly and hit the table as well. In a flash, the glass rose up in the air. Come here. A terrifying pure qi with an attraction force turned into a thread which moved towards the glass in the air. That person wanted to steal the glass. Tang Yuyu was just calmly looking at the scene, she didn't try to stop anyone. She looked natural and unrestrained, she wanted to see how Lin Feng was going to react. People from Xueyu who could leave their country and join the great competition of Xueyu were usually bullied, that was normal. Lin Feng had come to the Celestial Palace but anywhere else, he would have been bullied in the same way. However, after his journey in the Dragon Empire, would people still bully him? Kaboom! Lin Feng hit the table and a pure qi immediately collided with the other one. A dazzling light flashed. At the same time, Lin Feng stretched his arm and grabbed the glass. The thread of pure qi then came to encircle his hand and tried to make it move away, that person was still trying to steal the drink. It seems like the glass which little sister Tang Yuyu offered me can trigger a fight. Since it's that way, I will not restrain myself, declared Lin Feng in an ice-cold way. Then, the sound of breaking glass spread in the air, the glass in Lin Feng's hand was broken and a cyan liquid spilled out of it. At the same time, Lin Feng's hand shook and the pure qi around his hand broke apart as well. If you want to fight, let's do it without being cowards, shouted Lin Feng in an ice-cold way. Then he immediately landed in front of the one who had released the pure qi and released an extremely brutal energy. Chapter 534, The Bet. Huh. When the crowd saw Lin Feng's move they were stupefied, how aggressive, how violent. Surprisingly, a person from Xueyu dared to cause trouble in the Celestial Palace. Do you think I'm scared of you? Asked the one who had attacked Lin Feng while groaning coldly and standing up. He also released some qi and force towards Lin Feng. You just broke through to the 4th Xian Qi layer and yet you are already so proud just because you can come into this room? Are you trying to make yourself feel better because you have an inferiority complex? Provoked Lin Feng while moving his hands. A gigantic amount of energy moved towards the other one bombarding the atmosphere. Lin Feng then jumped up into the air and threw himself at his opponent. Lin Feng was flying through the room horizontally. In his fist, a terrifying black substance was flowing that emitted whistling sounds and caused a strong wind. Lin Feng's fist was extremely oppressive, the young man's facial expression changed drastically. Lin Feng's fist seemed like it contained an oppressive physical strength. He had never seen that before, and without realizing it, his body locked up. He looked glum at that moment. He took a step backwards and released all his pure qi which started revolving around him. It then moved towards his hand and began to condense. Suddenly it shot towards Lin Feng. Erf! He roared like a beast and released all of his pure qi which bombarded the atmosphere towards Lin Feng. However, Lin Feng's fist was destroying all that pure qi, Lin Feng's fist was unstoppable. Get lost, shouted Lin Feng furiously. Immediately after his fist bombarded the young man's fist, a terrifying physical strength, as heavy and oppressive as a mountain, spread through his opponent's arm. That young man had used all sorts of energies with his pure qi, but Lin Feng's Haruka strength was too powerful. To bombard his opponent's energies and even break the bones of their arm one fist sufficed. At the same time his body flew away and crashed loudly on the other side of the room. The crowd was astonished, they didn't understand. They were really surprised. Lin Feng had only broken through to the 3rd Xian Qi layer. He had been able to defeat the guard of the 8th floor with only his fist. And once again, using a simple fist, he could defeat a cultivator of the 4th Xian-Qi layer, to the extent that he had made him fly away. Moreover, Lin Feng was still at his initial position and remained motionless like a mountain. "Piece of trash," said Lin Feng in an ice-cold way which made the opponent pull a long face. He was gnashing his teeth so hard that blood started dripping out of his mouth. "You said something as well, right?" asked Lin Feng while looking at the young man in white clothes, which was the one who had humiliated him before that. His family name was Yang. It seemed like he could sense Lin Feng's ice-cold qi. He looked tense and nervous. No words came out of his mouth at that moment. He had the same strength as the one who had just been crushed by Lin Feng, 4th Xian-Qi layer. If the other one hadn't been able to compete with Lin Feng, then the one who's named Yang couldn't fight against Lin Feng either. He would end up being humiliated the same way. His eyes kept flashing. He hadn't expected Lin Feng to be that frivolous and aggressive, as well as extremely strong. What a coward. As expected, only your filthy mouth works properly, but when you are confronted with someone who really wants to fight, you're scared to death. If all the geniuses of Dragon Mountain are like that, then I am extremely disappointed, said Lin Feng while pulling his sleeves up and going back to his seat. Even though he hadn't attacked, he had humiliated him enough. The one whose family name was Yang had the impression that he had just been slapped on the face. His cheeks were burning intensely. He had humiliated Lin Feng and Shuiyu. At that moment, Lin Feng was humiliating him and Dragon Mountain respectively. He had humiliated him and the other one couldn't refute his words because he was really weaker than Lin Feng. Your Excellency, even though you are not weak, it is because you rely on a particular skill to defeat cultivators of the 4th Xian-Qi layer. You think that because you're good at battling it allows you to be arrogant? We are Dragon Mountain, it is not comparable with Shuiyu. We have a myriad of geniuses, those who can defeat you are numerous here. The only problem here is that they are unwilling to bully the weak, explained someone else in a sharp voice. He was a young man wearing a black Chang Pao. At that moment he wasn't even looking at Lin Feng, he was looking at his glass and sipping it. After a moment, he raised his head and glanced at Lin Feng in a proud and arrogant way. Lin Feng turned around and looked at him. Lin Feng's eyes looked as sharp as swords. That person was still sipping his alcohol and glanced at Lin Feng every now and then. He looked enigmatic. But Lin Feng kept staring at him and frowned. That person also looked at Lin Feng in an enigmatic way. What do you mean? That you can easily defeat me? When you state you are not willing to bully the weak, are you calling me weak? Said Lin Feng, which made that person narrow his eyes in which cold lights were twinkling. One can determine what people mean by considering their behavior, answered the young man coldly. It seemed like he was confirming Lin Feng's guess. He could easily defeat Lin Feng but didn't because he was too weak. Okay, that is what I thought you meant, said Lin Feng in a cold and detached way. His interlocutor seemed like he thought it was funny, but he then added in an ice-cold way, you don't know how to differentiate what's good from bad. Those who can come to the 8th floor of the Celestial Palace are at least of the 4th Xian-Qi layer, but there are also many cultivators of the 5th Xian-Qi layer here. I am one of them. Do you think that by relying on a funny skill, you can despise everybody else? I will show you how stupid that is and how reckless you are acting. 5th Xian-Qi layer. Wow! You're so amazing, said Lan Jiao and then continued, you're saying he's arrogant and acting recklessly? Do you want to bet? That person turned his head and said to Lan Jiao, what do you want to bet? You fight against him. If you win, I will teach you my evil illusions technique. If you lose, you must buy us 2 sets of each of the different sorts of alcohol the Celestial Palace has, said Lan Jiao while smiling. That person was stupefied and said, you can only have 1 bottle of those liquors. Besides, you cannot take them away. You are a member of the Cosmic Pavilion, so I believe you already know about that. Besides, I don't care about your evil illusions technique. I will bet, said Tang Yuyu in a soft voice at that moment while looking at Lan Jiao. She then added, considering your request, you should ask me to bet. But it's perfect because I wish to have that evil illusions technique from the Cosmic Pavilion. I will bet 2 sets of the 9 bottles of liquor with you. Agreed. You definitely deserve to be from the Tang clan, you're resolute and determined, said Lan Jiao while smiling. Then, Lan Jiao added, Lin Feng is perfectly able to drink those 9 bottles in a row. It's not impossible for him and the results won't be catastrophic as you may think. You will see. When Lin Feng saw Lan Jiao smile, he had the impression that she was selling him. That girl had brought him to the Celestial Palace with ulterior motives. Of course, if Lin Feng could obtain a set of the 9 bottles of liquor, he would also be very happy. You two that are fighting, don't you want to go to another place first? Asked Tang Yuyu while looking at the 2 fighters. No need. No need. Both of them talked at the same time. They were staring at each other in an ice-cold way and releasing some ice-cold energy. Let's fight. Lin Feng's silhouette flickered and his fist immediately bombarded the table. In a flash, it broke apart so that there was nothing left between them, nothing obstructing the way. Lin Feng threw himself at his opponent like an arrow whistling through the air. The young man in the black clothes groaned coldly. He was a cultivator of the 5th Xian Qi layer, his cultivation level was higher than that of Lin Feng by 2 layers. He wasn't scared of Lin Feng. 1,000 evil fists, shouted the young man in black clothes furiously. He then trampled on the floor violently which made it shake, his 2 fists then started shooting a myriad of evil fists which bombarded the atmosphere towards Lin Feng. It was terrifying. Annihilate! Shouted Lin Feng in an ice-cold way. The Haruka's strength made 4,000 rotations and destroyed all those fists which immediately disappeared without trace. In the air, there was only a terrifying light which was moving towards the young man in black clothes. Boom boom boom. A loud sound resonated in people's heads. Lin Feng was going through the young man's attack like a hot knife cutting through butter. When his fist bombarded the opponent's body, the same thing happened again. The young man in black clothes flew away and crashed against the wall, blood splashed and his face turned deathly pale. Chapter 535, Dragon Mountain's Rankings, Buzz. A terrifying buzzing sound kept spreading in the atmosphere. The young man in black clothes had crashed against the wall after Lin Feng had punched him violently. His attack's energy had been destroyed. He looked panic-stricken at that moment. You can defeat me easily. You don't like bullying the weak. You humiliate me, said Lin Feng in an ice-cold way while looking at that young man who looked panic-stricken. One fist. It had been only one simple fist, but it had sufficed. A cultivator of the 5th Xian Qi layer had been unable to withstand a single attack from Lin Feng. That punch hadn't only defeated him, it had also crushed his self-confidence. He had never thought that a cultivator of the 3rd Xian Qi layer could have despised him and easily defeated him. He realized that his life had just been in Lin Feng's hands. The young man in the black Chang Pao wasn't the only one to think that way, the others were all stupefied by Lin Feng's punch. The young man in black Chang Pao had used his 1,000 evil fists attack extremely quickly, but it had been unable to block Lin Feng's punch. Lin Feng had crushed him in a flash, as if he had crushed dry weeds and smashed rotten wood. Lin Feng had kept the situation under control from the beginning to the end. Tang Yuyu's eyes were twinkling. She had seen many geniuses in her life, but Lin Feng, with his strength of the 3rd Xian Qi layer, had fought 2 battles and had each time crushed his opponents with a simple punch. He had even defeated that cultivator of the 5th Xian Qi layer with a single punch. She had never seen that. Lin Feng had easily won, his punch had been explosive. What kind of physical strength is he using, thought Tang Yuyu. That black stream in his veins had invaded his fist, it looked like a physical strength from ancient ages. It could put everything under pressure. Lin Feng had probably learnt some mysterious skill. If he's been chosen to participate in the great competition of Shuiyu, there must be a good reason. He is indubitably extraordinary, thought Tang Yuyu again, considering the fact that usually, people who were chosen to participate in the great competition, particularly if they come from countries under the jurisdiction of Dragon Mountain, had to have broken through to the 4th Xian-Qi layer. Do I need to battle again? Asked Lin Feng while looking at Tang Yuyu. At that moment, he was already in front of the young man in the black Chang Pao and ready to punch him again. If Tang Yuyu told him to keep fighting, he would destroy that young man. No need, said Tang Yuyu while shaking her head. Her eyes twinkled, she stretched her arm and many bottles of liquor appeared. There were 18 in total. You won, admitted Tang Yuyu while stretching her arm and handing the bottles over to Lan Jiao. Lan Jiao took the bottles and put them away while smiling. Lin Feng is incredible, he's invincible, said Lan Jiao while giggling. Lin Feng lowered his hand and moved away from the young man in the black Chang Pao. He then walked back to Lan Jiao looking cold and detached. Let's go, said Lan Jiao while grabbing Lin Feng's arm. They then jumped out of the window and flew away. After having taken the 18 bottles of alcohol, they had immediately left. Tang Yuyu looked out of the window at Lin Feng and Lan Jiao. Lin Feng's natural abilities weren't bad but his cultivation level was too low. If he managed to break through to the 5th or 6th Xian-Qi layer, he would definitely appear as a dazzling cultivator at the competition, he would stand out. Lin Feng's cultivation level didn't suffice but he was very young, for people his age, he was already very strong, especially since he came from a small country. After leaving the palace, Lin Feng and Lan Jiao landed on the ground. Lan Jiao had a grin on her face. She then took out some bottles and said to Lin Feng, here are your bottles. You can have all of them at once, maybe then your cultivation level will improve. The other 9 are mine, you have no objections I suppose? Even if I did, would you give them to me? Said Lin Feng. Lan Jiao smiled and said, you're very smart, I wouldn't. I had to exert quite a lot of effort, I even introduced you to a beautiful girl and you had the opportunity to drink some amazing liquor thanks to me, I deserve a little reward. Lin Feng, tell me the truth, how do you find Tang Yuyu? Said Lan Jiao with a smile yet not a smile on her face. In Celestial Dragon City, Tang Yuyu and Qing Meng Xian were courted by many men. They were actually girls of many men's dreams. Very beautiful, said Lin Feng. Only beautiful? You didn't feel anything for her, joked Lan Jiao. No particular feeling, replied Lin Feng while shrugging his shoulders. Lan Jiao turned around and said indifferently, you have 2 beautiful girlfriends, they both look like celestial beings, not being attracted by other women is normal, but if Tang Yuyu didn't make your heart beat faster, Qing Meng Xian will. Do you want to go and see her now? We can go if you wish. I wouldn't dare meet women who practice the evil illusions technique, said Lin Feng indifferently. Back then, when Lan Jiao only had the strength of the Ling Qi layer, she had managed to make Lin Feng go crazy with her evil illusions technique, she had almost taken control over his spirit, and Qing Meng Xian was much stronger than her, she would definitely be able to make Lin Feng go insane. You're smart. If you met Qing Meng Xian, you would prostrate yourself in front of her and try to see under her skirt. Tang Yuyu is cold and elegant, Qing Meng Xian is not like that, she's like a blazing fire and she would turn you on so bad that you would go crazy, said Lan Jiao while giggling. Now, Lin Feng was actually very curious and wished he could see her. Tang Yuyu and Qing Meng Xian are very famous but it isn't only because they're beautiful, right? Said Lin Feng indifferently. There were many beautiful women but it didn't suffice to be famous, after all, cultivation was the most important thing in this world. Of course. Don't think that Tang Yuyu is only beautiful, if you fought against her, you would definitely lose, you don't need to have doubts about that, said Lan Jiao sounding very sure of herself which made Lin Feng knit his brows. When Lan Jiao saw Lin Feng's expression, she said, of course, you don't need to feel discouraged, in Dragon Mountain, cultivating is much easier, there are many extremely powerful teachers, and some of them are way stronger than those in Xueyu. That's indubitable. Besides, Tang Yuyu is from the Tang clan. They support her. And on top of that, they have their special liquors which are incredibly beneficial for cultivation. How could she not be extremely strong? Are you trying to cheer me up? Said Lin Feng while smiling in a resplendent way. Lin Feng had actually knitted his brows not because he had doubts about his own cultivation, but because Lan Jiao seemed so certain that Lin Feng couldn't rival her, and to top it all of, it didn't seem like she was the only one, it seemed like there were many more strong cultivators in Dragon Mountain. With the geniuses of such an empire, plus the extremely strong cultivators of the 3 other empires, as well as the strong cultivators of all the other countries under the jurisdiction of all the empires, if Lin Feng joined the great competition of Shuiyu at this moment, he would most likely not finish amongst the best ones. It seems like I need to hurry and increase my cultivation level, thought Lin Feng, feeling even more determined than ever. Why would I try to cheer you up? I just don't want you to collapse after a single setback, said Lan Jiao. What is Tang Yu Yu and Qing Meng Xian's ranking in the Dragon Mountain? Asked Lin Feng. Top 3, said Lan Jiao immediately, and then added, the 4 most outstanding young disciples of the Dragon Mountain are Jian Chen, he's the 4th one, then the 2nd and 3rd ones are Tang Yu Yu and Qing Meng Xian. However, nobody knows which one of them is the 2nd or the 3rd, they have already fought in the past but their strength is very similar, making their battle end in a draw. Then, the 1st one is terrifying, he belongs to the imperial family of the Dragon Empire and his name is Jun Mo Shi. Jun Mo Shi. Tang Yu Yu, Qing Meng Xian and Jian Chen. They are the 4 most outstanding disciples of the Dragon Mountain Empire, thought Lin Feng, trying to remember their names. Maybe Lin Feng would meet them and even face them at the great competition of Shuiyu. Of course, there are many other outstanding disciples in Dragon Mountain, who know incredible skills, you cannot look down on them. For example, there is one with a dark left hand called Cui Wu Ming. Thanks for telling me those things, said Lin Feng while smiling at Lan Jiao in a warm and friendly way. Lan Jiao's eyes twinkled, however it lasted less than a second, she then immediately groaned coldly and said, no need to thank me. You and I are just acquaintances, so I don't want you to die so young. The great competition of Shuiyu won't be as easy as you think. It is possible that you and the other so-called geniuses from Shuiyu and Tianfeng will be crushed and even die there. You might all just be like cannon fodder at the competition. Don't think that you will easily amaze someone. I perfectly know how things stand and have a definite idea of how things might be there, said Lin Feng while smiling. At the great competition of Shuiyu, there would be many geniuses who are extremely strong cultivators. Amongst the people who had come from Shuiyu and Tianfeng, most likely only 1 or 2 would become famous, while others might end up like Lan Jiao's prediction, dead and considered trash of the great competition of Shuiyu. Chapter 536, Breakthrough. Lan Jiao saw Lin Feng's eyes twinkle and understood that he had something in mind. He wasn't a prisoner of his personal feelings, he had a plan, but he just wasn't telling her what he intended to do. She was from Dragon Mountain, she had seen and heard a lot about the great competition of Shuiyu and how cruel it was. She knew that a human life there was considered as nothing. Nobody cared about others' lives, especially about the lives of those whose cultivation level wasn't high enough. Nobody would care about them if they died. People would let their body rot away from home. Where do you want to go now? I know the city relatively well, I can show you some other places, just tell me what you want to do, said Lan Jiao while looking at Lin Feng. Lin Feng looked pensive for a while and then said, just wait for a short while, I first want to try and drink those bottles to improve my cultivation, and then we can go and walk around again. Alright, no problem, let's go, I'll stay with you, said Lan Jiao while nodding. All the cultivators who had come from Shuiyu had only spent a short moment in the virtuous dragon residence and had then gone for a walk in Celestial Dragon. It wasn't easy to leave one's country, so they couldn't miss the opportunity. In the virtuous dragon residence, the atmosphere was particularly calm. Lin Feng arrived in the courtyard where he had chosen to stay. He walked through a long corridor and arrived inside of the courtyard. He immediately took out the 9 bottles. Those 9 bottles contained 9 different sorts of liquor. What is the difference between all those bottles? Lin Feng asked Lan Jiao. You already tried the Soul Spring liquor, how did it feel? Asked Lan Jiao. I still haven't used it, said Lin Feng while shaking his head. You swallowed it and prevented it from flowing by using your pure qi? Asked Lan Jiao. Lin Feng nodded, since it's a fine liquor, it wouldn't have been appropriate to use it a moment ago. You planned everything, you're good. Now you can let it flow and you will see. Lin Feng nodded and let the alcohol flow. His pure qi moved and in a flash, the alcohol started flowing through his body. In the blink of an eye, Lin Feng had the feeling that he could sense his soul in a much more distinct way than usual. It seemed like his vitality was also particularly acute. Practicing in such circumstances will inevitably be very favorable, thought Lin Feng. He was stupefied, that Soul Spring liquor was purifying his soul and consciousness. Everything became very clear. The effects were similar to those of his celestial spirit when he released it. How comfortable! My vitality and my soul feels so pleasant, said Lin Feng to Lan Jiao. Lan Jiao nodded and said, indeed, those 9 sorts of alcohol all have different effects but are very useful. That Soul Spring liquor can purify your soul and make you perceive everything more distinctly. Besides, it also improves the speed at which you can swallow the qi of the earth and the sky as well as the speed at which you can make it rotate. There are also some liquors which can help you increase your cultivation level or increase your vitality. In short, those liquors are extremely valuable and can help a cultivator break through to another cultivation layer. Lin Feng's eyes were twinkling. The alcohol of the 5th floor of the Celestial Palace restaurant, the hot unit liquor, had extremely powerful effects. He had already understood why that alcohol was extremely powerful. All those liquors were incredibly efficient. Besides, combining them together could help a cultivator break through to the next cultivation layer. That set of liquor was definitely a treasure. People of Celestial Dragon, except for the first time when they went to it, had to pay extremely high prices to get the liquor of the 8th floor. Only the first time was free. Lin Feng was also guessing that making those liquors wasn't easy, so the price was understandable. However, Tang Yuyu had immediately handed over those 9 bottles without batting an eye. She was extremely decisive and persistent. Lin Feng sat down cross-legged and drank all those liquors. He drank all of them like water. If other people had seen him, they would have been extremely angry and thought that he was wasting those treasures because he hadn't savored them. He had immediately downed them in one gulp. When those 9 liquors mixed together in his stomach, Lin Feng shook his hand and in a flash, he was surrounded by purity stones. Sirrr! Lin Feng gnashed his teeth and felt as if his internal organs and blood were boiling. His blood, his pure qi, physical strength and his strength of the Harukas all started boiling and rolling in his body. It was very painful. After having swallowed the Soul Spring liquor, he could perceive everything much more clearly, but it was extremely painful as if his body had been about to break apart. His blood vessels dilated and his bones started undergoing various modifications. Every single part of his body was changing, his blood was burning, but that pain didn't make Lin Feng feel like giving up. It didn't make Lin Feng lose his vigor either, it was stimulating all his senses. He could sense each part of his body, everything felt more real than ever. A terrifying fire started burning on Lin Feng's body, it was his cosmos burning sun skill. The purity stones around him began to move towards Lin Feng's body at full speed and penetrated into it. Lin Feng forgot about the pain and immediately started practicing cultivation. Lan Jiao was next to him, silently looking at Lin Feng practice. At that moment, she felt extremely hot, the ambient temperature abruptly rose. It was all because of Lin Feng's practice. She put her hand on her forehead to protect her eyes from the sunlight and then raised her head to look at it. The sunlight was shining upon Lin Feng's body and it was particularly dazzling. She then followed those rays of sunlight with her eyes and saw that they were all aiming at Lin Feng's body. Incredibly, there was a sun pattern on Lin Feng's body. Lan Jiao was stupefied. He's attracting the strength of the sun. Lan Jiao was astonished. Lin Feng was practicing a skill which could attract the strength of the sun and was able to use it. The sun pattern on his body started burning in an insane way. It looked like a little sun. That little sun and the real sun enhanced each other's beauty. Sun skill. Lan Jiao's face suddenly looked magnificent. That was an authentic sun skill. Those who practiced sun skills could swallow sunlight and use its strength. Similarly, those who practiced moon skills could also attract moonlight and use its strength. Sun and moon skills were extremely valuable skills, since their efficiency increased as the cultivator's cultivation level increased. Lin Feng was practicing precisely such a skill. Besides, it seemed like the strength he was borrowing from the sun wasn't that strong. Maybe his sun skill still hadn't reached its peak. Terrifying flames were burning all around Lin Feng's body. Lin Feng's heart and soul were making that strength flow in his body at full speed, but soon, those flames started to grow weaker and weaker. Lin Feng felt extremely good. Pure qi was flowing faster and faster in his veins. His formidable strength of the Haruka began rotating with increased speed. Lin Feng felt full of vitality and vigor. He could sense everything clearly. It was very pleasant. The pure qi of the earth and the sky from the purity stones kept moving into his body and revolving. Around Lin Feng's body appeared a resplendent light. At the same time, the pure qi, which was in the atmosphere, started moving into his body and into the small flames around him. After practicing that skill for a long time, he moaned with pleasure. He then opened his eyes and took a deep breath while inhaling some pure qi through his mouth and nose. At that moment, all of the pure qi penetrated into Lin Feng's body and merged with his sun qi. Phew! Lin Feng exhaled and spat out some fire which emitted small subtle sounds. Lin Feng stood up and clenched his fists. He felt overjoyed. He then gradually made that fire disappear, but the qi was still burning. Sun skills are extremely strong. Each time I break through to the next cultivation layer, it becomes incredibly more powerful, whispered Lin Feng. He could sense that his sun skill was becoming increasingly more powerful. His sun qi and physical strength had become much stronger as well. Considering that fact, each time Lin Feng broke through to the next cultivation layer, he became much stronger than other cultivators who also broke through the same layer, all thanks to his sun skill. As expected, you made a breakthrough, said Lan Jiao. She looked delighted. Those 9 bottles of liquor had helped Lin Feng break through to the next cultivation layer. Lin Feng would already be able to feel way more confident at the great competition of Shuiyu. I broke through to the 4th Xianqi layer, said Lin Feng while smiling and nodding. Breaking through to the next cultivation layer was, each time, like penetrating into a new world. Each time a cultivator broke through, he was at the beginning of that new cultivation layer, which meant that their cultivation wasn't very stable, but now Lin Feng had immediately broken through to the middle of the 4th Xianqi layer, which meant that his cultivation was already stable. Chapter 537, Marketplace. Those liquors are awesome, aren't they? Asked Lan Jiao while smiling at Lin Feng. She was also very happy for him. Lin Feng had broken through to the next Xianqi layer and she had played a role in that process. Using them together at the same time is incredible, said Lin Feng while nodding. If he hadn't had those liquors, he probably would have needed more time to break through to the 4th Xianqi layer, and it would have taken him a while. I still have 9 bottles, but unfortunately you cannot drink them immediately. The effect wouldn't be good enough, otherwise I would have already given you all of them, said Lan Jiao while smiling. Those liquors were fermented pills, and each time a cultivator used pills, he couldn't use them consecutively in a short amount of time, otherwise, the effects would be much weaker, and that would be a reckless waste. Right now, if Lan Jiao gave them to Lin Feng, he wouldn't be able to benefit from them. No need to give them to me, you also need to break through to the next cultivation layer, keep them for you. If you want to use them, I can stay here and protect you while you practice, said Lin Feng while shaking his head. He wasn't a greedy person. Having been able to drink 9 of those liquors was already wonderful. He was delighted. He had even broken through to the next cultivation layer. He didn't need more. No, that's fine. I will keep them for now and use them when the right time comes, said Lan Jiao while shaking her head. Oh, by the way, you said you wanted me to bring you somewhere. Where should we go? I can show you around now. Okay, bring me to a marketplace, replied Lin Feng. My clan, the Cosmic Pavilion, owns the biggest marketplace in Celestial Dragon. Let's go there, said Lan Jiao while nodding. Both of them then left the residence and walked towards the marketplace. The Cosmic Marketplace was the biggest marketplace in Celestial Dragon. There was a myriad of things to buy or exchange, for that there were not only stalls but also auctions. When Lin Feng arrived, he found out that the place was exactly like he had imagined. It was a huge district, lively and bustling, people's voices were boiling in the atmosphere, everyone was looking for transaction opportunities. The entire street was filled with people and various things were on the ground. There were also glittering jewels to delight the pedestrians' eyes. Anyone could display their goods and wait for other people to propose some deals. Where can I find some real treasures and products of higher quality? Asked Lin Feng while looking at all the things on the ground. You must rely on luck. If you see something you like, you can simply walk closer to inspect more meticulously. Those things are not necessarily rotten or of lower quality. You may see some real treasures too, maybe you will find something you need, said Lan Jiao. Lin Feng nodded. Indeed, in such places, finding what one really needed really required luck. Of course, if you like, you can also go to the auction house. If you find any treasures you like you can bid, said Lan Jiao. Lin Feng knew how auctions worked but he disliked them. If you found something you really liked, other people could also bid and the price would become exorbitant. Of course, if somebody needed something, paying a high price didn't matter. Let's go have a walk and see, said Lin Feng while starting to walk on the street and looking around, but at that moment, a silhouette appeared in front of Lin Feng. Lin Feng glanced at her and saw a middle-aged woman. She also glanced at him and then looked at Lan Jiao who was behind him. Are you done having fun and wasting time? Asked that woman coldly. Lan Jiao suddenly looked extremely tense and nervously walked forwards. She then shouted, Teacher! Teacher! Lin Feng was stupefied. That woman was actually Lan Jiao's teacher. Come with me, said the middle-aged woman, after which she turned around and started leaving. Lan Jiao remained motionless. The middle-aged woman stopped, turned her head and said, Are you not going to obey? Teacher, I wouldn't dare, said Lan Jiao while lowering her head. She then looked at Lin Feng and said, I will find you later. Then, Lan Jiao left and followed the woman. In a flash, they disappeared from Lin Feng's field of view. Lin Feng looked at them leave and felt upset. He was in Celestial Dragon and didn't really know the place. He had counted on Lan Jiao to show him around. He hadn't thought that she would leave him alone so unexpectedly. Unfortunately her teacher had shown up and she had no choice but to leave. Now, Lin Feng had to rely on himself to find what he needed. Lin Feng started walking in the middle of the market. He was walking slowly and paying close attention to all the things displayed, only stopping whenever something caught his attention. Actually, Lin Feng had two goals for coming to the marketplace. The first one was to find precious treasures which would help him improve his cultivation level. The second goal was to find the recipe of a pill, the Divine Water Pill. The Divine Water Pill recipe was extremely precious. Lin Feng hadn't had the opportunity to find it in Shuiyu. He had found out in his inherited memories that he needed some 9 sun grass to make it and he already had the required ingredient, but now, he had come to Dragon Mountain and hoped to find the recipe to make it. Otherwise, Yunxi would remain in a coma forever. Since he needed the recipe, Lin Feng was paying particular attention to the things displayed. Maybe there would be some alchemists who had the recipe for the Divine Water Pill. He hoped that even if he didn't find it, he would at least be able to find some other useful things. What's this? At that moment, Lin Feng stopped and walked towards a stall. The owner of that stall looked weak and flushed. It was an old man. He looked like a monkey, but from his eyes, one could see that he was probably perceptive and wise. That's a memory jade? Asked Lin Feng while pointing at a small jade. He had already seen a memory jade, but that one was really small. Young master, you have good eyesight. It is indeed a memory jade. There are some things inside, are you interested? What is inside? Asked Lin Feng. If the memories inside were useless, he wouldn't need to waste his time. A secret skill which enables you to hide your cultivation level. It makes other people think that your cultivation level is lower by one or even several levels, said the old man slowly. Lin Feng was stupefied. Hide one's cultivation level. In Celestial Dragon, people practiced the Celestial Eyes skill which enabled them to see other people's cultivation level, but that secret skill had the opposite effect. What's the price? Asked Lin Feng. 5 purity stones of higher quality, said the old man. Lin Feng was stupefied. 5 purity stones of higher quality for such a small jade? You don't pay for the price of the jade but for the things which are inside. Considering the secret skill inside, the price is already low, said the old man. He definitely wouldn't accept to lower the price. Lin Feng remained silent for a moment. It could be useful sometimes. Lin Feng was interested in being able to hide his cultivation level. How do I know if you're not lying? What if the skill isn't inside? Asked Lin Feng. You can look inside, but if the skill is really there, then you must buy it, said the old man while smiling. 5 purity stones of higher quality. Well then, can you also throw in the Celestial Eyes skill? Said Lin Feng. In Dragon Mountain, everybody could use the Celestial Eyes skill but Lin Feng couldn't. It was inconvenient to fight against such people. They could know your level but you couldn't know theirs. Lin Feng's interest was piqued. It would be incredible to be able to see other people's cultivation level while hiding his own. Chapter 538, The Spring Moon Jade. When the old man heard Lin Feng, he smiled, narrowed his eyes and said, even though the Celestial Eyes is not as precious as the secret skill, it's still a rare skill. If you want it too, that's fine, but the total price for both skills will be 6 purity stones of higher quality, alright? How shrewd, thought Lin Feng when he saw the old man narrow his eyes, but he still nodded and said, okay, 6 purity stones of higher quality for both skills, but before that I want to see if they are really inside, then I'll give you the stones. No problem, said the old man while nodding and smiling. He took the memory jade and gave it to Lin Feng. You must be from somewhere else. You are very young and have already broken through to the 4th Xian Qi layer. That is quite rare, said the old man while smiling before adding, that skill is the most used skill in Dragon Mountain. You can use your consciousness to learn it. Lin Feng glanced at the old man. Celestial Dragon City was really filled with hidden talents. He smiled at him and nodded. Then he put his consciousness into those 2 stones. They contained both skills as indicated, there was no doubt about it. Lin Feng could of course recognize them. It's marvelous, thought Lin Feng. The Celestial Eyes and the secret skill, both depended on the strength of a user's soul. The Celestial Eyes skill in particular enabled the user to observe another cultivator's blood vessels, and if a cultivator had a very strong soul, they could determine somebody's cultivation level at first glance. Likewise, that secret skill was based on a very similar principle. It enabled a cultivator to control his qi. With a strong soul, they could then make other people misread their energy flow. Of course, there was a condition. If someone had a stronger soul than the one using the secret skill and could use the Celestial Eyes skill, then, they would be able to determine their cultivation level anyway, so the secret skill became useless in such conditions. It couldn't deceive stronger cultivators' souls. Lin Feng took out 6 purity stones of higher quality and gave them to the old man. Here you go. Great. The old man took those 6 purity stones, after which they disappeared. Lin Feng nodded at the old man and walked away. His soul was feeling agitated. A short moment later, he condensed the strength of his soul and had the impression of having another pair of eyes. He could glance at people and know, in a flash, what their cultivation level was. It was very clear. Not bad, thought Lin Feng. He then proceeded to hide his own cultivation level. It was easy with the strength of his soul. He made it look as if he had just broken through to the 1st Xian Qi layer. The Celestial Eyes skill and the secret skill were both low skills. They were easy to use and easy to learn, without any need to practice them for a long time. Seeing them once sufficed to learn them. Lin Feng was controlling both at the same time at that moment. Little boy, there is something I should tell you. Don't use your celestial eyes skills on everybody recklessly. If you use it on other people, they might have an acute sensation. If you meet someone who has a bad temper, they might immediately attack you, said a voice which penetrated into Lin Feng's ears. He was stupefied. He turned around and saw nobody. Then, he laughed stupidly and shook his head. That was the old man's voice. It seemed like the old man's cultivation level was quite mysterious too. Lin Feng then glanced around and saw many stands. He was wondering if he would be able to find something interesting. Young master, come, don't you want a mysterious iron sword? Shouted someone at Lin Feng. Lin Feng glanced at that person and then at the sword on the ground. He smiled and shook his head. That sword was just a Ling-level sword. He could destroy it in one punch. He continued walking and glancing around. He then saw a charming woman behind a stand. She had some really beautiful jades. In the continent of the 9 clouds, they surprisingly have personal adornments, thought Lin Feng. He was surprised. However, no customers were near that stall. Nobody was looking at that person's items. What is the price of those jade necklaces? Asked a soft voice. Lin Feng then saw 2 girls walk towards that stand. The one who had just talked looked soft and fragile, even weak to some extent. However, the one on her side was wearing a short green skirt and one could see that she was experienced. She was also beautiful. As expected, girls like such things, thought Lin Feng while laughing. At the moment when he was about to walk away, he heard the owner of the stand say, "Girl, this isn't a necklace, it is a spring moon jade. It can suck cold qi out of people's bodies. It can be useful to you." Spring moon jade, that girl was stupefied. She then looked at the seller and said, "That's why you made me come." "Indeed," said the seller while nodding and smiling. At that moment, Lin Feng had come back to the stand and heard the girl ask, "Can it protect the corrosion caused by ice qi?" "Don't worry, you can try it yourself," said the seller while nodding. "All right," replied the young girl. She then put one of those spring moon jades around her neck and a pallid light appeared. It looked extremely cold. "How many jades do you have?" asked the girl. She looked excited. "Those are all of them. The one you have in your hand is the best spring moon jade though. It can unceasingly suck ice qi out of your body without ever breaking. The others aren't that good, they might break after some time," said the seller. The girl smiled warmly and said, "Thank you, what is the price?" "Those 2 are the best spring moon jades. They cost 20 purity stones of higher quality. All the others are not as good. If you want all of them, I can sell them all to you for 50 purity stones of higher quality," said the seller. 50 purity stones of higher quality, whispered the girl. She then looked at her companion and heard her say in an ice-cold way, "It seems like nobody is interested in your stuff here. 50 purity stones of higher quality is a high price, aren't you a bit too greedy?" "If you're not interested you can leave," said the seller in a cold yet straightforward way. "Hello, can you sell me one of those best spring moon jades please?" said Lin Feng at that moment while making a step forward. Those spring moon jades of higher quality could suck the ice energy out of a person's body and prevent corrosion. It would be very beneficial for Meng Qing, but 20 purity stones of higher quality was indeed a very high price. However, for Meng Qing, he didn't care spending so much. "What the hell, shut up," said the cold girl upset while glancing at Lin Feng. Lin Feng could sense that she was using her soul to inspect his strength. Celestial Eye's skill. Lin Feng was stupefied. Those people could indeed easily inspect other people's strength. "That girl came first. If she doesn't want them, then they'll be yours," said the seller while nodding. Immediately after she looked at the girl and said, "So, did you make a decision?" "Yes, I want all of them," said the girl while gnashing her teeth. She then took out 50 purity stones of higher quality and gave all of them to the seller. "Shi Yun," shouted the girl on her side. She wasn't happy but the soft and gentle-looking girl had already given the purity stones to the seller. Shouting was useless. Lin Feng frowned. It was rare to come across something which could be so useful to Meng Qing. He didn't want to give up that easily. Each time he saw Meng Qing's body get corroded by ice energy, his heart felt painful. If he could give her that jade, it would be able to protect her. Chapter 539. The Hua clan. Lin Feng got closer to the warm and gentle-looking girl and said, "Hi, could you sell me one spring moon jade of higher quality, please?" The girl raised her head and looked at Lin Feng in a friendly yet apologetic way. She then slightly shook her head and said, "I'm incredibly sorry, but I really need them, they are very important to me. I cannot sell them." "Is it because of the ice chi in your body?" asked Lin Feng. He could clearly sense some ice chi inside of her. Her situation was similar to that of Meng Qing's. "I have a friend who has the same problem as you, she also has some moon ice chi in her body. I hope you could sell one jade to me so that I could give it to her." "I am willing to pay a high price," said Lin Feng. That girl had bought the jades first, he had no other choice but to ask her and hope that she would accept. The girl didn't know what to reply. The experienced and capable-looking girl on her side glanced at Lin Feng in an ice-cold way and said, "Are you trying to say that we are tramps by proposing more purity stones? Shi Yun, why do you even pay attention to such people?" "Let's leave," she said while turning around and pulling Shi Yun. "Sister Yun, wait," said Shi Yun while letting go of Hui Yun's hand. She then looked at Lin Feng again and handed a few jades over to him while saying, "I want to keep those two for myself, but I'd like to offer you these, I hope you can help your friend with them." Lin Feng looked at the girl, she looked kind-hearted and honest. Lin Feng didn't feel like taking those stones from her anymore. "What's wrong with your body? What is that ice chi?" "Maybe I can help you," said Lin Feng without accepting her jades. He could help Meng Qing with his celestial spirit, but because of her cultivation and her physical condition, he could always, only temporarily, solve her problem. However, maybe he could help this girl with his celestial spirit. If he managed to help and cure this girl, with her temperament, she would probably offer all of her jades to him, then both sides would be satisfied. When the girl heard Lin Feng, she looked surprised but immediately shook her head and said, "It's no use, that ice chi is external, pills cannot cure me. My clan is a doctor clan." Lin Feng was a bit surprised. Doctors were similar to alchemists, but doctors were only able to prescribe pills whereas alchemists could both concoct and prescribe them. In the world of cultivation, cultivators would rarely get sick, but when they did it was usually frightful. Therefore, doctors knew about diseases and also about what pills to give, which was general knowledge. However, alchemists were different. Usually, alchemists despised doctors. The art of pill concoction was incredible. If someone had an alchemist at hand, they wouldn't need a doctor anymore. "If you don't let me try, how can you know?" "I am an alchemist myself," said Lin Feng, which surprised the girl. Lin Feng was an alchemist, and in the continent of the Nine Clouds, alchemists were more respected than doctors. "Shi Yun, don't believe him. He's just a crappy cultivator of the first Xian Qi layer. He's also so young, how could he be an alchemist?" "People like that are definitely swindlers," said the capable and experienced-looking girl. Lin Feng frowned. That girl was too aggressive and rude. He had never offended her. "Celestial eyes," said Lin Feng, and then his pair of celestial eyes opened as inspected those girls' cultivation levels. That experienced-looking girl had broken through to the second Xian Qi layer, whereas the soft and gentle-looking one had broken through to the first one. Lin Feng sighed. In Celestial Dragon, ordinary people were much stronger than in Xueyu. After all, Dragon Mountain was Dragon Mountain, there were more skills to learn, more people to exchange with and, of course, more resources to use. It was better than Xueyu in many different fields. Ordinary people in Dragon Mountain were stronger than people in Xueyu, that was absolutely normal. "How rude! What guts!" shouted the experienced-looking girl when she saw Lin Feng inspecting their strength. She was furious. Lin Feng was even more upset. What a detestable girl. Even though she was beautiful, she was as rude and aggressive as a man. She had just inspected his strength and was getting angry because Lin Feng was doing the same. "You did it first, so why couldn't I do it too?" said Lin Feng, sounding cold and indifferent. Besides, I haven't talked to you but you keep opening your mouth. You're really detestable. Alright, very good, I want to see on what you, a cultivator of the first Xian-Qi layer, rely to talk that way, said the experienced-looking girl while releasing some ice-cold energy which landed on Lin Feng's body. He looked even colder at that moment. She wanted to attack without any warning. Lin Feng could kill a cultivator of the second Xian-Qi layer with a single punch. Sister Yun. That's enough. What are you doing? Said Shi Yun while walking in front of the girl and stopping that ice energy. Lin Feng smiled. I'm sorry, my sister has a bad temper. I hope you can forgive her, said the girl while smiling in an apologetic way. Lin Feng, when he saw her face, immediately stopped being angry and said, Are you really sisters? Related by blood? Almost, said Shi Yun. Oh, I see, said Lin Feng while nodding. If you were related by blood, it would be strange if one was rude and detestable while the other one was cute and friendly. You. When the experienced-looking girl heard Lin Feng, she was furious. She had the impression she was going to explode. Sister, shouted Shi Yun. She then smiled wryly and said, My name is Shi Yun. You said you could help me solve my problem, let's try it. If it doesn't work, we can still be friends. But if you manage to cure me, I will give you the jades. Alright, said Lin Feng while nodding. He smiled and said, My name is Lin Feng. Lin Feng, said Shi Yun in a low voice trying to remember his name. She then immediately smiled and said, Okay, Lin Feng, let's go to my clan. Maybe you can talk to my father and find a solution together with him. Shi Yun, how can you let that kind of person come to our clan? Said the aggressive girl when she heard that Shi Yun wanted to bring Lin Feng to the clan. She was furious. No problem, let's see if Lin Feng can find a solution, said Shi Yun. She smiled and said, Don't provoke Lin Feng and don't fight with him. Hui Yun groaned coldly and glanced at Lin Feng in a threatening way, but she didn't say anything anymore. Lin Feng didn't pay attention to her. The Hua clan wasn't one of those huge, wealthy and powerful clans in Celestial Dragon, but it still had some influence. They were quite a big clan. Their territory spanned for several hectares. Ordinary people in Dragon Mountain were stronger than ordinary people in Shuiyu. Even some people who weren't too strong had already broken through to the Xian-Qi layer. Shi Yun and Hui Yun came from a fairly big clan and they also had quite high natural abilities. They had already broken through to the Xian-Qi layer despite being so young. When Lin Feng arrived at the Hua clan, he saw a huge gate. There were 9 sun patterns carved in it. It definitely caught people's attention. Lin Feng, in my clan, we practice fire skills. Our most famous skill is the 9 suns skills. My father was named after the 9 suns skill as well. That pattern with 9 suns is our emblem, said Shi Yun in a soft voice. When the guards of the clan saw Shi Yun and Hui Yun, they slightly bowed. In the clan, etiquette wasn't lacking. This clan also had a huge sparring field where people could learn from each other. At that moment, on the field, there was one person guiding a bunch of young cultivators. The clan was seemingly full of vigor and vitality. Sister. You came back. Many people, when they saw Shi Yun, enthusiastically smiled while greeting her. However, they were all ignoring Hui Yun. The most polite people were just nodding at her. Hui Yun was also ignoring them. From that scene, Lin Feng understood the difference between these two people. Chapter 540, Worries. Since Lin Feng had come with Shi Yun, people were also looking at him, especially a few young men of the Hua clan who looked annoyed. In the Hua clan, Shi Yun was the most beautiful woman. She also had a great temperament, was warm and friendly, and she was the clan head's daughter. Naturally, a few young men, full of vigor and vitality, had fallen in love with her. When they saw Lin Feng next to her, they of course, considered him as a potential love rival. Lin Feng knitted his brows. He could see that this young woman attracted many men. Lin Feng, however, didn't care about those young men who were looking at him in an aggressive way. It was absolutely normal. Hua Shiyun was so friendly, warm and soft. She was qualified to attract many men. At that moment, a young man who looked sophisticated walked towards them. He looked upset. He glanced at Lin Feng in an unfriendly way and asked, "Shiyun, who's that?" "My friend, Lin Feng," said Hua Shiyun in a soft voice. "I see," said the young man while nodding. He didn't know what to say anymore. "We're going to see my father," said Hua Shiyun and then continued walking. The young man let them pass. Lin Feng just glanced at him with a kind and simple smile while nodding his head. After Hua Shiyun and Lin Feng left, many people who were on the field sighed. Shiyun is becoming more and more beautiful with each passing day. Besides, it is time for her to find a husband and get married. Finding an outstanding future husband in Celestial Dragon is not difficult, unfortunately, said an old man sitting at the foot of a locust tree while sighing. Well, it all depends on luck. Shiyun is beautiful and her temperament is great, she's warm, friendly and gentle. And against all odds, that bastard of the Yuan clan injured her with his ice fist, and now she's sick, said another old man while shaking his head. I wonder who that young man is though. Could it be a potential lover? No, I don't think so. Even though he is young and has already broken through to the first Qianqi layer, in front of that bastard, he wouldn't be able to do a thing. Shiyun would not go out with him. You're right, said the other old man while nodding. They sounded hopeless. The Yuan clan was extremely strong and that bastard of the Yuan clan couldn't be kept under control, at least the Hua clan couldn't keep him under control. At that moment, Hua Shiyun and Lin Feng arrived at the main hall of the Hua clan. There stood a few middle-aged men who looked powerful. Shiyun, are you sure that he can cure your moon ice disease? Asked the one who seemed to be the leader. He looked dignified. Father, that guy is a swindler. He's so weak. He can't cure anything. He's much weaker than Yuan Tong. Hua Shiyun hadn't even had the time to open her mouth when Hua Yun had already started talking. Uncle, let Lin Feng try. There's no problem, said Hua Shiyun while shaking her head and smiling wryly. Of course there's no problem in trying, but I'm afraid that he could have ulterior motives and could harm you, said the middle-aged man. He then glanced at Lin Feng and said, you have broken through to the first Qianqi layer, you say you can cure Shiyun, no problem, but I hope you don't have any intentions of hurting her. You are so weak that we could crush you without breaking a sweat. Besides, you could never be in a relationship with a girl from our clan, said the second elder while rolling up his sleeves. He was looking at Lin Feng in an aggressive way while examining him from head to toe. Lin Feng glanced at him, opened his celestial eyes and inspected the man's cultivation level. Top of the 5th Qianqi layer. That's all, thought Lin Feng while smiling coldly. No wonder his interlocutor couldn't see that he was hiding his cultivation level. The second elder's soul was probably weaker than that of Lin Feng's, therefore, he could only see that Lin Feng had broken through to the first Qianqi layer. Huh? The second elder frowned and suddenly looked ice-cold. Kacha! He had a teacup in his hand which immediately broke into pieces and turned into powder. How insolent, said the second elder while staring at Lin Feng. Lin Feng had surprisingly dared inspect his cultivation level. A tiny little boy of the first Qianqi layer dared to act so aggressively and impudently, he was really fearless. You want to die, said Hua Yun looking ice-cold. She, of course, knew what was going on. Surprisingly, Lin Feng had dared to inspect her father's cultivation level which had infuriated him. Second uncle, Lin Feng didn't do it on purpose. Please forgive him, said Hua Shiyun trying to defend Lin Feng. I did. I did it on purpose, said Lin Feng, which stupefied Hua Shiyun. Hua Yun and her father were astonished. Lin Feng had done it on purpose, he was insane, what was he thinking? How disrespectful and insolent. Lin Feng had come with Hua Shiyun, he didn't care about those people. They were all rude, accusing him of having ulterior motives, as well as inspecting his cultivation level. So Lin Feng was doing the same. Did they think that Lin Feng was a servant of the Hua clan? Say it again, said the second elder extremely aggressively. Brutal qi enveloped Lin Feng's body, trying to threaten and oppress him. No problem, I will say that again, I did it on purpose. Do you think that I, Lin Feng, am your servant? Said Lin Feng in a cold and detached way. The entire hall was suddenly invaded by an oppressive silence. All the elders of the clan started walking towards Lin Feng while releasing an oppressive qi. What's going on? Asked a voice at that moment. When Hua Shiyun heard that voice, she turned her head and saw a middle-aged man come. That man already had some gray hair but looked vigorous and full of vitality. Father, I have a new friend who might be able to cure my disease, said Hua Shiyun, which stupefied Hua Jiuyang. He looked at Lin Feng and said, Really? Maybe, I can only try, but it might work, said Lin Feng. Good, since you are an alchemist, tell me if you need anything. I will do my best to help you, said Hua Jiuyang, looking delighted. Lin Feng nodded and said, I will. Good, when do you want to start? Asked Hua Jiuyang. Now, said Lin Feng. Immediately after, he looked at Hua Shiyun and said, Little sister Shiyun, let's find a place to try and cure your disease. Lin Feng, don't you need pills? Asked Hua Shiyun. No, I don't. I have another method, but I can't be disturbed by other people, said Lin Feng. Humph. The second elder groaned coldly and stood up. I knew that he had ulterior motives. I am even more concerned now. So am I, said Hu Yun. Hua Jiuyang frowned. Could it be that Lin Feng really wanted to hurt his daughter? Father, uncle, no need to worry, Lin Feng is only trying to help me. If it works, that's great, if he fails, he's still my friend. Why do you need to be so anxious, said Hua Shiyun while smiling wryly. Lin Feng, come with me to my courtyard, it will be calm and peaceful there. Nobody will bother us. Hua Jiuyang frowned, but after remaining silent for a moment he nodded, okay. Go and try. Hua Shiyun smiled when she heard her father. She then said to Lin Feng in a soft and gentle voice, Lin Feng, let's go to my residence. Hua Shiyun and Lin Feng left the main hall, walked through a long corridor and arrived in a park with trees. It was indeed calm and peaceful, there was nobody else. Why do you trust me so much? Are you not worried the things your uncle said? Don't you think I have ulterior motives, said Lin Feng with a faint smile. Hua Shiyun looked at Lin Feng as if she found him amusing, shook her head and asked, why wouldn't I trust you? You look a bit worried though, replied Lin Feng when he saw her facial expression. It seemed like she was hiding something. No, I'm not, Hua Shiyun tried to assure him as if she didn't want to tell something. She then shook her head and said, Lin Feng, let's do it here. Is there anything you need me to do? Chapter 541, The Beautiful Scenery. Is there a cultivation room we could use? Asked Lin Feng while shaking his head. He couldn't do it in the courtyard. We don't have a cultivation room here. If you need one, we can go to my bedroom, said Hua Shiyun looking extremely shy. After all, inviting a boy in her room was an embarrassing thing. All right, replied Lin Feng without thinking too much, he just nodded. The two of them entered the room. It smelt nice, the smell wasn't strong but it was delicate and subtle. It was different from Duan Xin Ye's room though, in any case, it was pleasant too. In this world, women's bedrooms smell so good, thought Lin Feng. In this world, women didn't put on a lot of makeup or use cosmetics, they didn't even buy things to decorate their rooms, which were usually plain and simple. However, their smell was pure and pleasant while their rooms were calm and relaxing. Lin Feng, what should I do now? Asked Hua Shiyun. Sit down. I practice a fire skill, I will see if I can use it to make the ice qi in your body come out, said Lin Feng. Hua Shiyun looked at Lin Feng while smiling wryly and shook her head, Lin Feng, it's useless. My clan also practices fire skills, including the 9 Suns skill. The ice energy in my body was caused by the 9 moons skill of the Yuan clan. Besides, that ice technique is stronger than my father's 9 suns skill, much stronger. He cannot make it come out either. 9 suns. 9 moons, whispered Lin Feng. Those attacks sounded similar. Yes, 9 suns, 9 moons, said Hu Shiyun. She understood what Lin Feng was thinking about and immediately explained. Before, my clan was extremely powerful thanks to its 9 suns skill. In Celestial Dragon, we were considered as cultivation masters. However, there is another clan. They are also doctors and they also used to practice similar skills. Before my clan managed to keep them under control and suppress them, they were called the Yuan clan. My clan, however, recently started to decline and the Yuan clan obtained something incredible. Their spirits started changing and they started mixing moon and sun skills. They could thus practice fire and ice skills at the same time. They have become extremely powerful. Besides, they named their ice technique 9 moons as a way to humiliate us and our 9 sun skills. Mixing moon and sun skills. Lin Feng was stupefied. Those had totally antagonistic properties. It resembled Lin Qian's universal fire and ice spirit. That kind of ability was indeed terrifying. The Yuan clan wants to fight against your Hua clan, but why don't you attack first? And why do you have that ice in your body? Asked Lin Feng. Lin Feng felt sad for her. They don't simply want to remove us, they want to replace us. The Yuan clan wants to swallow the Hua clan, but that's not the main reason. What they really want is to steal 2 of our treasures. Hu Shiyun looked sad and desperate. She was talking slowly. Besides, the Yuan clan has a young genius. He's monstrously strong. He's even considered as such in the entire empire. That genius is respected by everybody and will even be participating in the great competition of Shuiyu. He's the one who put that ice chi in my body, and my father can't cure me. What a cruel person. He's really abominable, said Lin Feng in an ice-cold way. Shiyun smiled wryly but didn't say much apart from, Lin Feng, I'm telling you, there is a small chance of you being able to cure me. Lin Feng smiled. In her eyes, if her father couldn't cure her, then no one could, especially a little cultivator of the first Xian Qi layer like Lin Feng. She was being tactful by telling him that there was almost no hope. How could Lin Feng's fire help her? If we don't try, how can we know? Said Lin Feng while shaking his head. If he couldn't cure her with his fire, then he would try to help her with his celestial fang spirit. All right then, said Hu Shiyun while nodding. Even though she thought Lin Feng couldn't help her, she still thought that she should let Lin Feng try. She couldn't refuse. It would mean that she didn't trust him and that wouldn't be too courteous. It would probably make him sad. Sit down, said Lin Feng. Hu Shiyun nodded and sat down cross-legged on the couch. Lin Feng went behind her and said, use your 9 suns skill as well, we will mix both of our fire skills. Alright, Hu Shiyun nodded and Lin Feng started using his cosmos burning sun skill behind her. A terrifying fire appeared. Hu Shiyun's eyes were closed. Even though the window was closed, it still seemed as if rays of sunlight were coming through and moving towards her body. It looked dangerous and strange. Eh! Hu Shiyun cried out in surprise. Lin Feng's palms were on her back. In a flash, a terrifying fire chi penetrated her body and started flowing inside. Lin Feng's fire chi suddenly caused the chi of her 9 suns skill to flow chaotically. Lin Feng's fire and her fire weren't of the same level. Huh? Hu Shiyun was surprised. Lin Feng's fire was monstrously strong and scorching hot. The fire chi from her 9 suns skill should have merged with the other one properly and should have made her feel very comfortable. However, what was happening at that moment was entirely different. She wasn't feeling that great. It was extremely hot and she had the impression she was going to burn. It was scary. It was exceeding what she could endure. Bzzz, suddenly a flame appeared on her body. It looked like she was burning. The astonished Hu Shiyun touched her face. Her face was turning red, it was burning. She was in the middle of a fire, she had the impression that she was going to turn into ashes. Hua Shiyun looked lithe and graceful, she was beautiful, the flames which surrounded her body made her even more alluring. Lin Feng's hands were still on her back, which made her face even redder. It almost made her forget that she actually was in the middle of a fire. "Keep focused, don't worry, let the fire eliminate the ice," said Lin Feng in Hua Shiyun's ear, which made her shiver. Her facial expression kept changing over and over again. At that moment, her clothes had completely burnt, they had turned into ashes. Her beautiful body was completely exposed. How could she remain focused? CRR. CRRR, the sound of the fire kept spreading in the atmosphere. Hua Shiyun was surprised. Lin Feng's hands kept releasing some fire qi which penetrated into her body and collided with the ice qi, which was continuously expelled out of her body. Hua Shiyun nibbled on her lip and kept her eyes closed. She tried to concentrate to fully absorb Lin Feng's fire. The room was filled with fire qi and there was a beautiful light in the middle, the scenery looked incredible. After a while, some ice qi appeared in the room, besides, that ice qi kept increasing in the atmosphere, it had all been expelled out of Shi Yun's body. Lin Feng's cosmos-burning sun skill was able to use the strength of the sun to control the ice qi. Even though Lin Feng's cultivation level wasn't high, he had still managed to do it. Phew! How hot! Hua Shiyun's face was very red, even her beautiful white skin was red. She also looked very shy but particularly bewitching and captivating at that moment. "Hold on, wait a little bit more. We need to take it out entirely, otherwise it will continue corroding your body," said Lin Feng. At that moment, his eyes were open and he could see her beautiful naked body. He felt strange. "All right," said Hua Shiyun while nodding. She let Lin Feng continue. Fire qi kept entering her body. In the main hall, Hua Jiuyang was sitting, while the others felt anxious. Lin Feng and Hua Shiyun had been away for a while now, so they couldn't calm down anymore. They were wondering what was going on. "Brother, how can you trust a little boy of the first Xian Qi layer?" said the second elder in an ice-cold way. "Don't worry, since he wanted to try, I let him try and not get involved," said Hua Jiuyang. He then shook his head and added, "I am not certain he can do it, he has only broken through to the first Xian Qi layer, it will definitely not be easy for him to succeed. However, we have no choice but to hope for a miracle to happen, otherwise, we will have to submit to the Yuan clan." Chapter 542, Unreasonable and Impertinent Behavior. Hua Shiyun was still in her room and it was still very hot, however, it was gradually getting less and less intense. Hua Shiyun grabbed a blanket on the couch and covered her body with it, but her shoulders were still exposed and her skin shone in a particular way. She looked extremely attractive at first glance, especially since she also looked a bit shy, that made her look even more bewitching. Lin Feng was particularly aroused. "Lin Feng, thank you," said Hua Shiyun while holding the blanket with both her hands and looking at Lin Feng. Her cheeks were red and she was blushing. Lin Feng's body felt tense and rigid, his heart was pounding. "No problem, I also did it for the jades," thought Lin Feng, but he didn't say it. He then stood up and left the room while saying, "I'll be outside waiting for you." Outside, he took a deep breath of air and smiled wryly. It was so difficult for him to control himself when facing such a beautiful woman. Hua Shiyun looked at Lin Feng leave and smiled in a magnificent way. She then put the blanket away and looked for clothes she liked. Lin Feng waited outside for a terribly long time but finally saw Hua Shiyun come out of her room. She was walking slowly. At that moment, she hadn't put makeup on but she had washed herself. She was wearing her hair in a bun and her face looked delicate and beautiful. She also looked a bit shy, her cheeks were red. Besides, she was wearing a purple chong sam and smelled very good. Lin Feng looked at her neck and then his eyes followed it downwards, looking at her cleavage. He wanted to see more, so he continued looking down and looked at her long skirt. He wanted to see what was under, he was aroused. "Lin Feng, shouted Hu Shiyun when she saw that Lin Feng was staring at her. She lowered her head too. She felt embarrassed and her cheeks became even redder. Eh? Lin Feng was stunned and smiled wryly. Hu Shiyun was way too attractive at that moment. She was already very beautiful before, but now she looked seductive as well, especially with that skirt and that cleavage. Lin Feng had the feeling he was drowning in that cleavage, and he wished he could hide in it. She was definitely what could be called a femme fatale. I'm sorry for my lack of manners, apologized Lin Feng while shaking his head and smiling wryly. He had seen many beautiful women in his life and surprisingly he was still losing his concentration in front of her. She just looked too captivating. No problem, said Hu Shiyun while shaking her head. She then took out a sachet and handed it over to Lin Feng while saying, those are the jades, they are for you, I don't need them anymore. I hope you will be able to cure your friend. Lin Feng accepted the sachet and said to Hu Shiyun, while smiling, thank you, Miss Hua. When she heard Lin Feng call her Miss Hua, she suddenly looked extremely sad and said, call me Shiyun, alright Lin Feng? I'm not used to hearing Miss Hua. Lin Feng said, Shiyun. When she heard that, Hu Shiyun smiled in a warm and gentle way and said, let's go tell my father the good news. He's been waiting for a while now. Alright, said Lin Feng nodding. Then he followed her to the big hall. At that moment, in the hall, Hu Jiuyang was sitting and knocking frantically on a table out of nervousness. Brother, let Huiyun go and see, said the second elder. Hu Jiuyang looked pensive for a few seconds and said, alright, but don't disturb them. Don't worry, uncle, said Huiyun while nodding. She turned around and left the hall, but at the moment when she arrived outside, she saw Lin Feng and Hu Shiyun walk towards her. They were walking slowly. At that moment, Hu Shiyun had changed her clothes and looked extremely beautiful. Shiyun. Hu Jiuyang's silhouette flickered and he appeared outside. When he saw his daughter, he was stupefied. He looked at her and frowned discontentedly. Why was she wearing such provocative clothes? Hadn't she asked Lin Feng to cure her? When Hu Shiyun saw those eyes stare at her, she lowered her head in a timid way, making her look even more suspicious. Hu Jiuyang looked at Lin Feng in an angry way. Had he slept with his daughter? Shiyun, what is going on? Asked Hu Jiuyang. Hu Shiyun raised her head and said, Father, Lin Feng managed to cure me. I have no more ice qi in my body. Oh. Hu Jiuyang, the second elder and Huiyun were all astonished. Even Hu Jiuyang had been unable to cure her, but Lin Feng had managed to do it. Hu Jiuyang's silhouette flickered and he landed next to Hu Shiyun. He then touched her arm and his pupils shrank. Indeed, there was no more ice qi in her body. It even seemed like her 9 suns skill had become stronger. Hu Jiuyang was surprised and stared at Lin Feng. In fact, he couldn't imagine how Lin Feng had done it. Initially, he had absolutely no hope. He thought he could let Lin Feng try but that nothing would happen. It disappeared, thought Hu Jiuyang, then he looked at Lin Feng and asked, are you an alchemist? Indeed, said Lin Feng nodding. Hu Jiuyang remained silent. He didn't ask too much. Lin Feng had cured his daughter, that was enough. Hu Shiyun looked at Lin Feng but said nothing. Words wouldn't come out. Even though Lin Feng was an alchemist, he hadn't used a pill to cure her. He could have only used a skill. In the end he had to use his celestial fang's spirit to swallow the ice qi lingering in the room. Hu Shiyun was still astonished. Lin Feng's spirit was so powerful but he had only broken through to the first Xian Q layer. Lin Feng was probably hiding his cultivation level. You are so weak, how can you concoct such powerful pills to cure her? It's impossible. Especially in such a short time. You wouldn't have been able to concoct anything, unless you already had something on you to cure her when you arrived? Asked the second elder while making a step forward. The ice qi had definitely disappeared from Hu Shiyun's body, there was no doubt. Hu Jiuyang couldn't have been wrong when he checked. Think whatever you want, said Lin Feng indifferently while smiling coldly. He had come to the Hua clan because of the spring moon jade. Now that he had them, he didn't have to stay there and justify himself. He didn't care about what they thought. I guessed right then, so what are your intentions for having come here? Why did you come? Speak, demanded the second elder while staring at Lin Feng. Hua Jiuding looked puzzled but remained silent. Even though the second elder's words were harsh, he also wanted to know the truth. Lin Feng glanced at them in a cold way. Those people were ridiculous. No wonder the Hua clan was becoming weaker and weaker and was bullied by the Yuan clan. Lin Feng ignored the second elder and Hua Jiuyang. Instead he looked at Hua Shiyun. Lin Feng, don't listen to my uncle, said Hua Shiyun while shaking her head. She wanted to apologize to Lin Feng but she didn't know what to say. Shiyun, I cured you, now I'm leaving, said Lin Feng. He had nothing more to do there and he didn't feel like seeing those idiots. Lin Feng, said Hua Shiyun looking anxious, but Lin Feng said nothing and left. You think you can leave without telling us your purpose? Shouted the second elder in an ice-cold way. He wanted to chase after Lin Feng. But at that moment, Shiyun moved in front of him and shouted, Uncle, Lin Feng saved me and you haven't shown him any gratitude. Instead you've been bullying him. He only looked at your cultivation level, that's all. How can you be suspicious even though nothing happened? No wonder our clan is declining. We don't have any geniuses here, otherwise, Yuan Tong wouldn't be able to bully us, said Hua Shiyun. She was usually calm and friendly, but at that moment she had gotten angry at the second elder. She turned around and ran after Lin Feng. Chapter 543, Humiliation at the Gate. Lin Feng, shouted Hua Shiyun, but Lin Feng was running extremely quickly, she couldn't catch up with him. Lin Feng also knew that she was behind him, but he didn't feel like staying there. Apart from that beautiful and gentle girl, the others were all rude. Especially Hui Yun and her father, they were utterly detestable. Lin Feng didn't stop, he was running like the wind. He crossed the cultivation field of the Hua clan and left through their gate. A moment later, Hua Shiyun also arrived. Everybody saw how beautiful she looked, but she ignored them and continued running after Lin Feng. Hua Shiyun is following him, thought the crowd. They were surprised. Who was the young man with whom she had come? Astonishingly, Hua Shiyun looked distressed. She passed through the gate of the clan, but Lin Feng had already disappeared. Hua Shiyun just stood there and looked extremely depressed, as if she had just lost someone. She still wanted to go out and walk, but at that moment, somebody arrived. Shiyun, it's okay. Hua Shiyun turned her head and saw her father running towards her. Shiyun, that's enough, why are you running after him? Asked Hua Jiuyang. Hua Shiyun replied, it's because of you that he's leaving. He came here and cured me, but none of you thanked him even once. You kept acting aggressive and humiliating him. Father, don't you think you all went too far? Hua Jiuyang remained silent. When he got closer to her he saw that she had tears in her eyes. She was sad because they had been aggressive and rude to Lin Feng, causing him to leave. Hua Jiuyang caressed his daughter's head and also looked sad. It was the first time that he had seen his daughter cry. Even when she was sick, she was always smiling. You're being too emotional, my little girl, said Hua Jiuyang while sighing. Normally she wouldn't act so depressed. But Shiyun, you must understand that even if he stayed you would only end up being hurt. Even though he is a little bit strong, he is still very weak. He would never be able to stop Yuan Tong, explained Hua Jiuyang slowly. He added, you need a man who is stronger than Yuan Tong, only a strong man will be able to protect you. I don't think Lin Feng is the right person. Hua Shiyun opened her mouth, she wanted to say something but didn't. Even though Lin Feng had hidden how strong he was, it was impossible for him to rival Yuan Tong. Yuan Tong was a genius of Dragon Mountain, he was famous. He even defeated her father. Even if Lin Feng was there, what could he do? Nothing, he would be killed. Shi Yun, now that you are cured, if you don't want Yuan Tong to hurt you again, you only have one choice: you must leave Celestial Dragon, maybe even Celestial Mountain. Otherwise, he will come back and hurt us again, said Hu Jiuyang. Hu Shiyun looked depressed and shook her head. What would the Hu clan do if she left? Let's go back, said Hu Jiuyang disheartened. After they left, in a distant street, a silhouette was flickering. It was Lin Feng. Yuan Tong, whispered Lin Feng. Hu Shiyun had told him about a genius of the Yuan clan. It was Yuan Tong. He was the one who put the ice chi in her body. Yuan Tong wanted to rape Hu Shiyun or force her to become his wife. That explained everything. The Yuan clan is back. At that moment, while Lin Feng looked pensive, he was interrupted by a voice. In the distance there were many silhouettes running very fast. What caught people's eyes was the palanquin the group of people were carrying. They had come to pick up someone. It seemed like they came to pick up Miss Hua and bring her back to the Yuan clan. How aggressive, said some people in the crowd. Everybody knew what was going on between the Yuan clan and the Hua clan. So what? Yuan Tong is very strong and has high natural abilities. He is famous everywhere in Dragon Mountain. He is one of the 10 best young disciples who have been chosen for the great competition of Shuiyu. Miss Hua is extremely beautiful and Yuan Tong is outstanding. They are a perfect match. It would be her honor to have Yuan Tong, said someone else. The Yuan clan was getting closer to the Hua clan, finally arriving after some time. Let's go and see. Maybe we will see Yuan Tong, said many people looking excited. Lin Feng thought about it for a while and decided to go back to the Hua clan, mixing into the crowd. The Yuan clan hadn't arrived yet, but the Hua clan was already panicking. Everybody was gathered together looking afraid of the Yuan clan. A young man walked out from the Yuan clan and glanced at the crowd with a cold smile on his face. I am Yuan Lai of the Yuan clan. I have come to take Miss Hua. She will be coming to our clan, said that young man. Everybody was astonished. Yuan Lai had come, but Yuan Tong hadn't. The Hua clan opened the way and Hu Jiuyang, Hui Shiyun, and Hu Yun appeared. Yuan Lai. Hu Jiuyang shouted at Yuan Lai in an ice-cold way. He obviously knew Yuan Lai. His 9 moons skill was extremely powerful. In the Yuan clan, apart from Yuan Tong, Yuan Lai was the second most talented disciple. He had already broken through to the 4th Xian Qi layer. He was stronger than all the others, and even stronger than some elders. Hu Jiuyang, said Yuan Lai while looking at him and smiling in an enigmatic way. My big brother sent me here to pick up Hu Shiyun. We're taking her to our clan. Our clans will become one. Yuan Tong asked you to come here with a palanquin to pick up my daughter and bring her back to your Yuan clan, asked Hu Jiuyang in a cold and detached way. The people of the Yuan clan really had no manners. Hee, don't be angry. My brother is going to participate to the great competition of Shuiyu soon. He is focused on cultivating. He misses Miss Hua, but he cannot afford to waste his time, so he had me come. I hope you can understand. Yuan Lai was talking in a normal way, neither too quick nor too slow. The great competition of Shuiyu, many people gasped in amazement at that moment. Being able to participate to the great competition was incredible. Yuan Lai was showing off his brother. Since he doesn't have time, he should come back when he has time, said Hu Jiuyang coldly. They shouldn't have come. No, it doesn't work like that. Imagine if we wait, something could happen to Miss Hua. She has ice in her body and it could harm her. I don't need you to care about that, replied Hu Jiuyang. Yuan Lai looked colder and colder. Mr. Hua, I came because my brother sent me here to pick her up. If you refuse, it means she deserves better than Yuan Tong, right? No, Yuan Tong is talented and strong. My daughter can, of course, marry him, said Hu Jiuyang. My brother is impatient. Why do you keep refusing since you're happy about the union? Could it be that Miss Hua likes someone else? said Yuan Lai as if that was impossible. He thought that Yuan Tong was the best, being interested in Hu Shiyun was an honor for her. Yuan Lai, young master, she just needs some more time, that's all, said the second elder at that moment in an ice-cold way. No, you're right, I like someone else, shouted Hu Shiyun. Everybody was stupefied. She liked someone else? Was there someone better than Yuan Tong? If you don't tell me, don't blame me for being impolite, said Yuan Lai as he started moving at full speed. Ah! A horrible shriek spread in the air. Yuan Lai's hand bombarded somebody's body and in a flash that person's body flew away. He was dead. Everybody suddenly felt tense and nervous. Yuan Lai wasn't joking, he had really killed someone. He was merciless. Hu Shiyun opened her mouth but was terrified. Yuan Lai, you. Hu Shiyun looked extremely pale. Words wouldn't come out of her mouth. I what? Said Yuan Lai while smiling coldly. Miss Hua, if you don't tell me whom you like I will continue killing everybody. The Hua clan will not have a single young man left. Hu Shiyun's face looked more and more pale. If she didn't tell him he would kill everyone, how cruel. For him, a human life didn't mean anything. The people of the Hua clan were all pulling a long face while looking at Hu Jiuyang, they could attack only if he gave them the order. However, Hu Jiuyang didn't tell them to fight back, if he did, that would give Yuan Lai another excuse to kill even more people. Yuan Lai clearly wanted to kill the young men of the Hua clan, he wanted to destroy them. Miss Hua, if you don't talk, then pardon me, said Yuan Lai, and attacked again. He released some moon ice chi out of his hand and punched a young man in the chest. That young man died too. Phew, people were astonished. He really was too cruel. He was going to kill all the young men of the clan. Another person collapsed and Hu Shiyun felt extremely sad. Her chest was pounding, it was painful. Miss Hua, will you talk now? Asked Yuan Lai again. Hu Shiyun's lips moved, was she going to tell him? It's me, said a voice at that moment. A young man was running towards them and looked at Yuan Lai in an ice-cold way while saying, Shiyun likes me. Shiyun was surprised. When the people of the Hua clan saw him, they were surprised too. It was the young man that Hu Shiyun had just brought to the clan. You? Yuan Lai said indifferently while glancing at Lin Feng. He smiled coldly and said, Miss Shiyun couldn't be that blind, I wouldn't believe she likes you. Hu Shiyun's lips moved, but it was Lin Feng who said, stop talking shit, I told you it's me, now attack me if you want to fight. Since you want to die, I will help you. Then I will ask Miss Shiyun who she really likes, said Yuan Lai while laughing. He intended to kill Lin Feng and then all of the other young men because he didn't believe that Hu Shiyun liked Lin Feng. He planned to kill all of the young men anyway. In a surprise attack he threw himself at another young man of the Hua clan. Lin Feng didn't try to intercept, people thought he was probably getting ready to die. That young man closed his eyes and could sense the ice-cold chi of Yuan Lai's fist. Back, shouted a cold voice at that moment. Yuan Lai slightly stopped moving and saw some fire chi collide with the ice chi. Yuan Lai was shaking. He moved back like the wind to his original position. There was fire chi in his hand. He was astonished. Lin Feng was looking at him in a cold and detached way. The young man opened his eyes and saw Yuan Lai. He hadn't died because Lin Feng saved him. Hu Shiyun was astonished as well. She was charmed, but at the same time the situation was critical. Lin Feng saved the young man. Hu Jiuyang, the second elder, and Hu Yun were looking at Lin Feng. They were stupefied. Lin Feng really wanted to die. Lin Feng hadn't been able to control himself, he had to save the young man. The people of the Hua clan were all cowards. They were watching as their comrades got killed, so Lin Feng was filled with indignation. Hu Jiuyang and his brother were head and vice-head of the clan, but they hadn't said anything. Who are you really? Asked Yuan Lai in an ice-cold way while looking at Lin Feng. His face was filled with murder. He's the one you want to kill. He seduced Hu Shiyun. Yuan Lai, kill him and you won't need to kill the rest of us, said the second elder at that moment. Hu Shiyun turned her head and looked at him in an ice-cold way. Uncle, you're so shameless. Lin Feng turned his head and said indifferently, it's the first time I see someone return kindness with enmity. Besides, you are extremely shameless. Your companions die in front of you, and you're just standing there talking shit. Now, here I am saving your clan and you're still trying to think of a way to get me killed. Can you be more shameless than that? Chapter 545, Lin Feng attacks. Lin Feng's harsh words were directed at the second elder, not the Hua clan. Lin Feng was saving them. The second elder was shameless. When his clansmen were dying in front of him, all he could think about was how to get Lin Feng killed. You humiliate me and my uncle, said Hu Shiyun in an ice-cold way. When the second elder realized everybody was staring at him, he pulled a long face. I'm right though. That guy just met Hu Shiyun and then she brought him into her bedroom, who knows what they did there. Then she put on extremely provocative clothing, letting everyone see her body. He is the one causing problems here, explained the second elder. Alright, I understand, said Yuan Lai. He wanted to kill Lin Feng even more. You are audacious, you stole Yuan Tong's girlfriend. You're just a crappy cultivator of the first Xian Qi layer, seems like you're sick and tired of living, said Yuan Lai while using his celestial eyes to look at Lin Feng's cultivation level. He had only broken through to the first Xian Qi layer, he was begging to die. Yuan Lai burst into laughter. Who is Yuan Tong? I've never heard of him. It seems like your brother Yuan Tong is just a little dog for sale, right? Said Lin Feng sarcastically. He was calling Yuan Tong a dog, an animal, and joking about it. Lin Feng dared ask who Yuan Tong was, who hasn't heard of him. Lin Feng, this is between the Hua clan and the Yuan clan, it has nothing to do with you. You should leave, said Hu Shiyun, when she saw how aggressive Lin Feng was. She feared that Lin Feng provoking Yuan Lai would get him killed. Leave and go where? Asked Yuan Lai while smiling coldly. I want to see how strong Miss Hua's sweetheart is, how could he make you forget about Yuan Tong, said Yuan Lai while releasing some ice-cold, oppressive qi which surrounded Lin Feng's body. I will show Miss Hua how blind and foolish she is, that she would favor this piece of trash over my brother. You are a tiny insect in front of me, no need to say how weak you are compared to my brother, said Yuan Lai. Then he released some ice energy that started revolving around his fist. A cold, white ice appeared on his fist. Yuan Lai, you misunderstand, we've only met today. How could I like him? Said Hu Shiyun, whose silhouette flickered and appeared in front of Lin Feng. Defending Lin Feng proved even more that she liked him. She was protecting him because she cared so much about him. Nobody doubted her affections towards Lin Feng anymore. Unfortunately, Hu Shiyun couldn't save Lin Feng. She could only regret that the one she liked was too weak to protect her. Lin Feng couldn't protect her against the geniuses of the Yuan clan. I misunderstood, asked Yuan Lai while smiling coldly, even if I did, I will not let him off. Hu Shiyun was extremely nervous. She gnashed her teeth and said, stop hurting my people, I'm leaving with you now. Let's go to the Yuan clan immediately. Hu Shiyun, we will leave soon enough but first I will kill him, said Yuan Lai in an evil way. Hu Shiyun cared so much about Lin Feng that Yuan Lai wanted to kill him even more. Hu Shiyun was still obstructing the way, she didn't move. At that moment a hand touched her shoulder. I will prove to you that you are not blind. Leave him to me, said Lin Feng jokingly. Hu Shiyun shivered, leave it to him. Could Lin Feng really compete with Yuan Lai? Indeed, Lin Feng had cured her, maybe he could really rival with Yuan Lai. I'm going to fight now, said Lin Feng while throwing Hua Shiyun behind him. Hua Shiyun landed behind Lin Feng and looked up at him as he slowly walked towards Yuan Lai. For Shiyun, I will fight the Yuan clan. The rest of the Hua clan are despicable and detestable, said Lin Feng while walking towards Yuan Lai. What's going on between your two clans has nothing to do with me, but since you wanted to fight me, then I'll fight. I will show you how good Hua Shiyun's eyes are. Lin Feng walked towards Yuan Lai looking self-confident, natural and unrestrained. Yuan Lai did not understand how a cultivator of the first Xianqi layer could talk to him like that, or how he could be so fearless. Of course, when I kill you I will show everyone that Miss Shiyun has picked the wrong person, said Yuan Lai while raising his hand. White ice rolled around his fist, he was using his 9 moons skills. The sound of the freezing ice was spreading in the atmosphere. Snowflakes even started falling on the ground. As expected, a cultivator of the 4th Xianqi layer using the 9 moons skill is terrifying, thought the crowd. When they saw Lin Feng walk towards Yuan Lai, they only felt pity for him. How sad, Lin Feng had broken through to the 1st Xianqi layer, how could he block Yuan Lai's 9 moons attack? He would surely die. Die! Shouted Yuan Lai as he threw himself at Lin Feng. His 9 moons skill was bombarding the atmosphere towards Lin Feng. Disappear, shouted Lin Feng furiously. Lin Feng stomped on the ground causing a fissure to appear. Suddenly a huge fire appeared around Lin Feng's fist. Boom! CRR! CRR, the two fists collided. Yuan Lai was astonished, his 9 moons skill was destroyed by the fire qi that continued moving up his arm. It was burning his blood vessels. Ah! Yuan Lai gave a horrible shriek and was projected backwards. His entire arm was red and burning. His 9 moons skill had completely disappeared. How's that possible? Yuan Lai didn't understand. Lin Feng had destroyed his 9 moons skill in one fist. The 9 moons skill of the Yuan clan was stronger than the 9 sun skills of the Hua clan, how could Lin Feng destroy it so easily? Besides, Lin Feng's energy wasn't that of the 1st Xianqi layer, it was definitely the 4th Xianqi layer. Lin Feng had used his Cosmos Burning Sun skill, it was like the sun. He could easily destroy the 9 moons skill. Everybody was astonished. How was that possible? Lin Feng sent Yuan Lai flying with one fist. It was the exact opposite of what they had anticipated. At that moment, Lin Feng didn't look like he was going to let him off. Lin Feng jumped forwards and released a gigantic fire that enveloped his entire body. Lin Feng became a wall of flames. Sunlight was shining upon his body, his fire was becoming more and more dazzling as he shot straight at Yuan Lai. As Yuan Lai raised his head he saw Lin Feng above him, or more precisely, he only saw a dazzling light. Lin Feng's energies were oppressive and sharp. How dare you! Yuan Lai raised his head and tried to start his 9 moons skill again, but couldn't because he was injured by Lin Feng's fire qi. Boom boom boom. The two hands collided and a terrifying fire spread from Yuan Lai's arm through his body. The ground under his feet broke apart and a fissure appeared, both his legs were sent into the ground. You want to show Hua Shiyun that she is blind? Said Lin Feng sounding cold and detached. He looked like a god. Yuan Lai was still being crushed between Lin Feng's fist and the ground. His face was deathly pale. Since you wanted to kill me, you will have to pay the price, said Lin Feng as a terrifying fire ignited on Lin Feng's body again. Try if you dare, said Yuan Lai. He looked furious when he sensed that terrifying energy. However, Lin Feng just smiled coldly, why wouldn't he dare? His terrifying fire moved down in a flash, moments later Yuan Lai was engulfed by a terrifying fire. Chapter 546, Bite the hand that feeds Yuan Lai's body started burning under Lin Feng's fire. The crowd was gasping in amazement and their hearts were pounding, wasn't Yuan Lai was a genius? The young man who had appeared had only broken through to the first Xian-Qi layer but could easily oppress Yuan Lai, brutally and violently burning him. Yuan Lai was stunned. How was it possible? The Hua clan surprisingly had a young man able to defeat him, Yuan Lai. This young man could even kill him. The people of the Hua clan were gasping in astonishment. The young man who had just been saved by Lin Feng was moved and touched. He was also filled with regret, for if he had been as strong as Lin Feng, he could have protected Hua Shiyun. She would have never been humiliated by the Yuan clan. He was far too weak from being able to be in a relationship with her, but Lin Feng could. He hid his real strength. Hua Jiuyang and Hua Yun were astonished. It seemed like Lin Feng had hidden his strength. He had broken through to the fourth Xian-Qi layer. How come they had only detected that he had broken through to the first Xian-Qi layer? Lin Feng had probably learnt some secret skill to hide his real strength and reduce it. How come he is so strong, thought Hua Yun as she pulled a long face. She had humiliated Lin Feng several times, she even tried to attack him. But at that moment, Lin Feng held a total advantage over Yuan Lai. Hua Yun was far from being able to fight against Lin Feng. Lin Feng could actually easily kill her with his real strength. If you kill me, will you not be scared of Yuan Tong? He will definitely come to avenge my death, shouted Yuan Lai, whose body was burning painfully. If it continued, his entire body would burn and he would die. I told you, I don't know Yuan Tong, I've never heard of him, said Lin Feng aggressively. He continued attacking Yuan Lai, the ground was caving in. Yuan Lai was buried up to his waist now. Let Yuan Lai off, threatened the people of the Yuan clan while releasing some pure qi. Yuan Lai was about to be killed. Get lost, said Lin Feng while spitting out some pure qi from of his mouth. It crossed the atmosphere like a meteor and turned into several burning snakes that burnt everything in their path. In a flash, a few people were covered by flames, they felt the agonizing pain. You don't know how strong Yuan Tong is. He has broken through to the sixth Xian-Qi layer and is going to participate to great competition of Shuiyu, do you want to die? Stop now, you still have time, said Yuan Lai, whose suffering had become too much. He was really going to die, a terrifying pain kept spreading through his body. He hadn't thought that the Hua clan would be protected by Lin Feng, who was so strong and brutal. Lin Feng even dared to kill him and the people of the Yuan clan. I forgot to tell you something, I will also participate to the great competition of Shuiyu, whispered Lin Feng in Yuan Lai's ears. Lin Feng had a murderous smile on his face. Therefore, there is no need to show off and act proudly in front of me. You will die now. Lin Feng released more sun fire which crashed onto Yuan Lai's body. Loud crackling sounds spread through the air. Yuan Lai tried to concentrate some pure qi to block, but he couldn't stop Lin Feng. He gave a horrible shriek, he was going to burn to death. Human lives don't matter to you, so I must treat you as I would treat a dog, explained Lin Feng in a low voice. He continuously bombarded Yuan Lai's body, transforming his body into a huge fire. Yuan Lai disappeared into the ground, he was completely buried, only his shouts were still audible. Moments later the atmosphere became calm again. Lin Feng was standing there with his fire qi still burning around his body. Sunlight continued to shine upon his body, it was dazzling. He looked like a king of suns, blessed with the love of the sun. How terrifying, thought the crowd, their hearts were pounding. Yuan Lai had talked in such a proud and arrogant way. He said he would kill all the young men of the Hua clan, but in the end he had been killed by Lin Feng. He was too weak to block his attacks. The Hua clan were in disbelief that Lin Feng was so strong. Phew, after what seemed to be a long time, some people took in a deep breath, they were all staring at Lin Feng. Lin Feng having killed Yuan Lai would infuriate the Yuan clan, Yuan Tong would surely kill everyone. The Hua clan would never be able to stop him. You killed some people of my clan, you also killed Yuan Lai, Yuan Tong will never let you off. He will kill you and leave nothing behind, said a member of the Yuan clan whose entire arm had just been burnt by Lin Feng's attack a moment before. He was staring at Lin Feng with murder in his heart. Lin Feng had to die, thought the people of the Yuan clan. They wished they could kill him. Maybe, but you won't be there to see it, shouted Lin Feng furiously. His hand shook and in a flash of fireball shot out and covered that person's entire body. He burned to death. Lin Feng had killed that person, just like he had killed Yuan Lai. Every member of the Hua clan was clenching their fist, especially the few young men. Their blood was boiling. This is exactly what they wanted to see, but Lin Feng wasn't a member of their clan. If he had been one of them, they would have killed those animals of the Yuan clan together. The second elder and Hui Yun were looking at Lin Feng with discontent. That's enough, said the second elder. He couldn't stand it anymore. Lin Feng slowly turned around and said to the second elder in a cold and detached way, "Are you talking to me? The problem is you killed those people of the Yuan clan, but we will bear the consequences when Yuan Tong comes," explained second elder, who was furious at Lin Feng. Who would be able to face Yuan Tong when he came? I killed these people of the Yuan clan, not you, said Lin Feng in an ice-cold way. You are a disgrace to the Hua clan. You watched as your people got killed and did nothing. Now that I helped you kill them, you ask me to stop. You're ridiculous. The members of the Hua clan were stupefied. Their second elder was telling Lin Feng to stop. Lin Feng had prevented the people of the Yuan clan from killing them. You understand nothing. Yuan Tong is extremely strong. Nobody can stop him, not even you. You're leading our clan to extinction with your stupidities. You decided to die by picking a fight with the Yuan clan, and you decided to drag us along with you, said Hui Yun while pointing at Lin Feng. She looked like an evil snake. Lin Feng laughed and smiled coldly, saying, I should learn from you and do the same. I should let my friends die and watch them without doing anything. You like seeing your companions get humiliated and killed. Lin Feng's joke stupefied everybody. Hui Yun's words precisely came down to the same thing. Yuan Lai had been humiliating and killing them, but she was saying that they should have let them kill their younger clansmen. So what? What does that have to do with you? Asked Hui Yun. When she saw that many people were staring at her, she felt triggered. It doesn't have anything to do with me, but when I kill people, it has nothing to do with you. I killed Yuan Lai for Shi Yun, that's all. Do you think that I was protecting you or the Hua clan? Do you think I would ever do that for you? Said Lin Feng while laughing mockingly. Hui Yun looked glum and said, Since it's that way, get lost. Go and beg the Yuan clan for mercy alone. Beg for mercy because of such people. Lin Feng thought she was hilarious. Hui Yun turned around and said to Hui Jiuyang, Uncle, I think we should capture him and deliver him to the Yuan clan. At the same time, we also bring Shi Yun there. That's the only way for us to avoid the catastrophe that is Yuan Tong. It is the only way to save the clan. Hui Yun, said Hui Shi Yun, looking glum. Every member of the Hua clan was embarrassed. Hui Yun had no principles. Lin Feng had helped them and she wanted to capture him and deliver him to the Yuan clan. For the Hua clan, we must do that, said Hui Yun, who didn't care about them. Hui Jiuyang looked at her infuriated. Brother, Hui Yun is right. We need to avoid making the Yuan clan furious. You know how strong Yuan Tong is. Besides, he's going to participate to the great competition of Shuiyu. We cannot provoke him now, said the second elder. Chapter 547, What do you want to do? The second elder and Hui Yun were afraid of infuriating Yuan Tong, so they wanted to deliver Lin Feng to the Yuan clan. Father, said Hui Shi Yun with hope in her eyes. She hoped that her father wouldn't agree with the second elder and Hui Yun. They were shameless. Shi Yun, don't say anything, said Lin Feng suddenly. He was smiling coldly. Deliver him to the Yuan clan? How ridiculous, way too ridiculous. Lin Feng turned around and looked at Hui Yun and the second elder. He looked extremely fierce and tough. Which of you is strong enough to capture me? Lin Feng then made a step forwards and released some ice-cold qi. It was piercingly cold. Hui Yun started shaking and asked Lin Feng, "What are you doing?" "What am I doing?" Lin Feng smiled coldly and said, "I am not the slave of your clan. I helped you kill your enemies and now you want to capture me and deliver me to the Yuan clan, so what should I do?" Hui Yun was stepping backwards and staring at Lin Feng while remaining vigilant. Slap. Lin Feng immediately slapped her face, which projected her body backwards. She nearly fell down on the ground with the mark of Lin Feng's hand on her face. Lin Feng didn't want to hit a woman, but that one was too shameless. She made Lin Feng feel sick. "You dare hit me," shouted Hui Yun furiously while touching her cheek. Slap. Lin Feng slapped her face again, which made her fall down on the ground. Blood splashed out of her mouth. Her cheek felt like it was burning. She raised her head and looked at Lin Feng, who was standing in front of her. He wasn't even looking at her. "If you dare say anything again, I will kill you." "I'm sick of hearing your voice," said Lin Feng while releasing some deadly energy which surrounded her body. She had the feeling she was suffocating. She was shaking from head to foot. She was about to say something but just gulped down in the end. Lin Feng wasn't a member of the Hua clan. He would definitely kill her. He had killed people from the Yuan clan and would also kill them if they offended him. The crowd was blankly staring at Hui Yun on the ground and Lin Feng standing in front of them. The young man who Lin Feng had just saved didn't regard Lin Feng as an enemy. Lin Feng was right to slap her. She was disgusting. Lin Feng had saved the Hua clan and she wanted to hand him over to the Yuan clan. Was she really a member of the Hua clan? Everybody could see that she was just thinking about herself and wanted to save her own life. Lin Feng had been right to slap her twice. Everyone hoped that it was painful. At that moment, the second elder arrived in front of Lin Feng and looked at him in a furious way. He then released some fire energy which contained some deadly energy. "You want to die," said the second elder in an evil way. "I want to die," said Lin Feng in an ice-cold way. He made a step and didn't say anything else. With such people, Lin Feng didn't feel like talking. Boom! A terrifying fire appeared in Lin Feng's hand and immediately moved towards the second elder. Lin Feng's fire also contained some deadly energy. Lin Feng had immediately attacked without hesitation. The second elder started his 9 suns skill. His hand shook, and suddenly, what looked like the sun appeared in his hand. How could he resist my cosmos burning sun with his 9 suns skill, thought Lin Feng. The 9 suns skill was based on flame energy, whereas Lin Feng's cosmos burning sun took its source from the real sun. It had a monstrous explosive power. Boom boom boom. The two hands collided and flames exploded. Lin Feng was moved back 5 steps while the second elder only moved back of 2 steps. There is a huge difference between my level and yours. You want to die, so I will help you. I will then deliver your corpse to the Yuan clan. That will suffice as well, said the second elder in a cold and detached way. He moved both his hands and at that moment, 5 suns appeared in his hands. He abruptly raised them and those suns moved towards Lin Feng, bombarding the atmosphere. Destroy, said Lin Feng in an ice-cold way. The sun shone upon his body and he released an incredible and terrifying fire. Go! Lin Feng's terrifying flames flew in the air and collided with the 5 suns. The atmosphere was filled with flames. It was scorching hot. The temperature kept increasing. 7 suns, shouted the second elder furiously. He released 7 dazzling suns around which were embers floating. 8 suns, shouted the second elder who looked exhausted, and another sun appeared. It then swallowed the 7 other suns. It was dazzling to the eyes. You hid your strength, so what? Now you will die, said the second elder in an ice-cold way. Qi kept flowing around his body. It was astonishing. Unfortunately, that young man had come to help the Hua clan, but he would have to die there. What a pity. But the second elder was really terrifying. Many people were sighing with emotion when they saw that the second elder's attacks were becoming more and more powerful. They pitied Lin Feng for he wouldn't be able to block them. The 9 Suns skills was extremely powerful, releasing 8 Suns was already terrifying, but 9 was even worse. The second elder wanted to kill Lin Feng, so he was going to release the full 9 Suns. Lin Feng. Hua Shiyun was shaking. If the second elder released the 9 Suns, the attack would reach its peak. It had an explosive power. Although Lin Feng was strong, her uncle was also powerful. He wouldn't be able to block 9 Suns. He would die. Hua Shiyun threw herself at Lin Feng and moved in front of him. Everybody was astonished. Shiyun, move away. Lin Feng grabbed her and threw her away into the distance. At the same time, he released some flames of killer energy which started burning in his hand. I forgot to tell you that I was just playing with him a moment ago, said Lin Feng when saw that Hua Shiyun was worried about him and wanted to protect him. She shivered when she heard him, then she looked at Lin Feng's hand. He was bombarding the atmosphere with his sun qi. In Lin Feng's hand, a pure qi sword slowly condensed. It was a scorching hot sword. The sun was shining upon Lin Feng's pure qi sword. It seemed like the sun was condensing in it. People's hearts were pounding. Playing? Lin Feng was playing with the second elder. What else could he do? Did he know stronger attacks? Oh yes, your 9 Suns skill is very powerful, said Lin Feng sarcastically while smiling coldly. His Cosmos Burning Sun skill was a sun skill. It was really like the sun. It could destroy any moon skill and perhaps any other skill. The 9 Suns skill was a fire skill. It had nothing to do with the Cosmos Burning skill. Humph. The second elder looked worried and groaned coldly. He moved his entire body and a terrifying fire rose up. It was dazzling. The crowd could barely open their eyes. A 9th sun appeared and swallowed the 8 other suns. It seemed like the entire area was illuminated by that attack. Lin Feng looked cold and detached while staring at that 9 Suns skill. His pure qi sword was becoming sharper and sharper. A sun appeared on it suddenly. It became a sun sword. It was filled with a terrifying determination. It seemed like it could burn anything. 9 Suns, kill! Shouted the second elder furiously. His gigantic sun then moved towards Lin Feng at full speed. Lin Feng arrived next to the second elder and raised his hand with his great radiant sword. His great radiant sword was a sun sword. It was as dazzling as the sun if not more. It then collided with the 9 suns. CRRR. CRRR. That terrifying sword was filled with determination and with the strength of the sun. The 9 suns immediately got lacerated as the second elder looked desperate and terrified. That sword contained the strength of the real sun. A horrible shriek spread in the air and blood splashed. The crowd opened their eyes and saw the second elder's body fly away. His 2 arms had been cut off. Lin Feng hadn't killed him, he had cut off his 2 arms. Lin Feng made another step and arrived in front of the second elder. He put his foot on his chest. Lin Feng wasn't looking at him, he despised him. Second elder, you used your celestial eyes to inspect my cultivation level. When I did the same to you, you felt humiliated because you thought that you were a great and amazing cultivator. Now, I want to ask you, what are you in front of me? Nothing, said Lin Feng in an ice-cold way. Everybody was astonished. Chapter 548, Yuan Tong. Initially, the second elder had inspected Lin Feng's cultivation level and then Lin Feng had done the same to him, which is why he had been furious. Maybe that the second elder thought too highly of himself. He had never thought that the young man who had inspected his cultivation level would end up humiliating him by standing on him after he knocked him onto the ground. How aggressive, how violent. That was astonishing. The members of the Hua clan were astonished. Lin Feng had broken through to the 4th Xian Qi layer, but he had been able to kill Yuan Lai and defeat the second elder. He was even stepping on his chest. Hui Yun was blankly staring at the scene. She had been slapped and injured by Lin Feng. Now her father was being humiliated by Lin Feng. Her father's arms had been cut off. He had become a piece of trash. Hu Jiuyang was staring at Lin Feng with her mouth wide open. He didn't know what to say. Lin Feng was scary. He was so young, he was much younger than Yuan Lai. Besides, Hu Jiuyang's brother had broken through to the 5th Xian Qi layer and had mastered the 9 Suns skill to perfection. Surprisingly, he had been defeated by Lin Feng, who cut off his arms as well. Lin Feng was a real genius. Couldn't he rival with Yuan Tong? In a few years he should be extremely strong, thought Hu Jiuyang while sighing. Lin Feng was a perfect match for his daughter. His daughter was right, she had seen the genius in Lin Feng. He was a real genius, extremely talented. Hu Shiyun was also staring at Lin Feng with her mouth wide open. She was astonished and pleasantly surprised. Even though she knew that Lin Feng had been hiding his strength, she never thought that he would be so strong to the extent that he would defeat her uncle. He even cut off her uncle's arms with his sword. He was merciful. If Lin Feng had been merciless, he would have killed the second elder. The second elder was lying on the ground and groaning in pain. When he heard Lin Feng, he didn't know what to think. That young man was actually terrifying. His 9 Suns skill had been ineffective against Lin Feng's sword. Who else wants to capture me and deliver me to the Yuan clan? Asked Lin Feng coldly. Kill me, begged the second elder, who was agonizing. He had no arms, he had become a piece of trash. Living like that in such a world, he would get humiliated every day by everybody. He preferred dying. Kill you? I could, of course. If I killed people of the Yuan clan, I could also kill the people of the Hua clan except for Shi Yun. You and a few others make me want to puke, but now I will let you leave as a piece of trash, said Lin Feng while taking his foot off the second elder's chest, who cried in agony again. Then Lin Feng kicked his body and watched as it fly away. Hu Jiuyang sighed when he saw how much the second elder was suffering. The Hua clan was in a dead end. Yuan Tong would come to kill them. Who would take care of him? Brother, avenge me, said the second elder while looking at Hu Jiuyang. Hu Jiuyang looked expressionless though. He sighed and said, "You're still sticking to your stupid ideas? Our clan is already in a tight spot. Yuan Tong will come and he will never let us off. Apart from Shi Yun, he also wants our 2 treasures. After, he will destroy our clan. He will never let us off," said Hu Jiuyang, looking sad and desperate. Since Yuan Lai had attacked them, Hu Jiuyang had guessed that they had only been looking for an excuse to destroy their clan. At that moment, Yuan Tong had even more excuses to destroy them. Shi Yun, said Hu Jiuyang while walking towards her. He took out an ancient scroll made of sheepskin, gave it to her. Keep it safe, Shi Yun. Shi Yun was shivering and fixedly staring at her father. Hurry and hide it, demanded Hu Jiuyang, looking serious and solemn. Shi Yun, you already know the 9 Suns skill, so I don't need to teach that to you. Now, leave with Lin Feng. Leave Celestial Dragon and go far away, said Hu Jiuyang, which stupefied Hu Shiyun. He was giving her to Lin Feng. Hu Jiuyang was getting ready to face Yuan Tong. Lin Feng, said Hu Jiuyang. Lin Feng looked at him in a calm way. Lin Feng, my daughter is warm, gentle and tender. Besides, she is beautiful. Marry her and she will never betray you. I can see that she likes you a lot. Now, leave with her, go far away. Leave Celestial Dragon and even Dragon Mountain. Hurry up, my daughter is yours, said Hu Jiuyang. Lin Feng was stupefied. He wouldn't have thought that Hu Jiuyang would want things to happen that way. Lin Feng didn't know what to do. Lin Feng, what are you thinking? Do you think that my daughter is not good enough for you? Asked Hu Jiuyang, while frowning, when he saw that Lin Feng remained silent. Of course not, said Lin Feng while shaking his head. He was about to add something else when Hu Jiuyang interrupted him again. That's good then, now hurry up and leave. If you don't leave now, it will be too late. Yuan Tong will arrive, he is much stronger than Yuan Lai. Lin Feng remained immobile, he looked at Hu Shiyun's beautiful face. Leave, where? Said a voice at that moment. It came from the distance. What a catastrophe, Hu Jiuyang started shaking. We're done. Hu Jiuyang looked deathly pale. That was Yuan Tong's voice. Yuan Tong had arrived and Lin Feng and Shi Yun hadn't had the time to escape. The members of the Hua clan were shaking as well, it was their judgment day. Everybody was glancing around looking for Yuan Tong but couldn't see him. Nobody was appearing but they had heard his voice so distinctly, it was like an illusion. Hu Jiuyang pulled a long face and sighed, they couldn't escape anymore. Since you're here, show yourself, said Hu Jiuyang indifferently. He was talking to the air, it seemed. We haven't seen each other for a long time, Hu Jiuyang. I hope you're doing well, said Yuan Tong, and then he appeared in the sky in the distance. He was flying through the sky. His Cheng Pao was fluttering in the wind, he looked natural and unrestrained. Yuan Tong. When the crowd saw him, many people's hearts started pounding. Yuan Tong was a genius of Dragon Mountain, he was extremely famous in Celestial Dragon. Many people knew him, everybody knew that he was going to participate to the great competition of Shuiyu. He had a brilliant future ahead of him if he continued becoming stronger. He would break through to the Tian Qi layer sooner or later as well, how majestic. Lin Feng glanced at him, he didn't find him so handsome because his qi felt evil. But he still looked extraordinary. One could see that he was extremely strong at first glance. How could I be fine? You're here, said Hu Jiuyang. Yuan Tong laughed and said in a calm way, haha, I like your sense of humor. He then turned and looked at Lin Feng and Hu Shiyun. When he saw how stunning she looked, he smiled. Shiyun, you're even more beautiful. I'm happy that you're going to become my wife. Who will become your wife? Said Hu Shiyun while looking at Yuan Tong in a furious way. Because of him their clan was in a horrible situation. They had been living in a horrible state of anxiety these days because of him. You have no choice, said Yuan Tong while smiling in a gentle way. I wouldn't have thought that the ice in your body would disappear. You're lucky. The Hua clan surprisingly wants you to leave and go to a far place, they really care about you. Yuan Tong looked at Lin Feng said slowly, you killed Yuan Lai, right? Lin Feng raised his head and looked at Yuan Tong in a calm way. Yuan Tong looked extremely proud which annoyed Lin Feng, he looked too arrogant. He must have thought he was the best cultivator in the world. Chapter 549, Prove it, I killed him, said Lin Feng indifferently, he looked absolutely emotionless. Since you killed Yuan Lai, and touched my girl, how do you want me to kill you? Asked Yuan Tong who was still in the sky looking down upon Lin Feng. His eyes were filled with murderous intentions. You cannot kill him, said Hu Shiyun in an ice-cold way. You surprisingly want to protect him, how ridiculous. I can't wait to see what kind of person could possibly captivate you so much, said Yuan Tong while smiling coldly. His girlfriend liked Lin Feng, he perceived it as a monumental humiliation. A cold deadly energy rose up in the air and enveloped Lin Feng and Hu Shiyun. Hu Jiuyang took a step forward and moved in front of them while saying, Lin Feng, take Shiyun away, as fast as possible. I will block him. Lin Feng was stupefied when he saw Hu Jiuyang, he was looking at him with new eyes. Hu Jiuyang and his little brother were opposites. He was actually a member of the Hua clan, he wanted to protect others while the second elder only cared about his own miserable life. You cannot rival me, you will not be able to protect them. Today, nobody will escape, said Yuan Tong proudly. Nobody would be able to escape, they would all stay. Escape? Asked Lin Feng. Why would he escape? Why did everyone think he wanted to escape? Lin Feng had used his celestial eyes to detect Yuan Tong's cultivation level. He had only broken through to the 6th Xian Qi layer. Lin Feng could definitely fight against him. Lin Feng had already killed cultivators of the 6th Xian Qi layer. Why would I escape? Asked Lin Feng, sounding like he was talking to himself when he was actually asking Hu Jiuyang and Yuan Tong. Yuan Tong looked at Lin Feng and frowned. He was surprised. Lin Feng was asking him why he would want to escape. Do you think that standing high enough in the air means that you are strong? You make me want to puke, said Lin Feng while making a step and then jumping up in the air. He immediately arrived in front of Yuan Tong. The crowd was astonished. Lin Feng wanted to fight against Yuan Tong. Indeed, Lin Feng wanted to fight, and at that moment he confirmed it by releasing some terrifying sun qi which started burning. Lin Feng's clothes were fluttering violently. Lin Feng surprisingly wanted to fight against Yuan Tong. Yuan Tong frowned and stared at Lin Feng. He was also smiling coldly. Lin Feng wanted to fight. I've never seen you, do you know who I am? Asked Yuan Tong proudly while looking at Lin Feng, a nobody. An unknown cultivator was facing him and wanted to fight. That was humiliating. Does showing off mean that you are strong? Does it justify your arrogance? Asked Lin Feng coldly. I don't want to show off. I want to tell you that I, Yuan Tong, am very strong. I've always relied on my own natural abilities and efforts to become stronger, and now I will join the great competition of Shuiyu. You say I am proud, but I want to ask you, who makes you think that you can stand here and face me? Asked Yuan Tong, still sounding proud. In Celestial Mountain, there were many geniuses and Yuan Tong was a particularly dazzling one. He stood out. He would even participate at the great competition of Shuiyu. How incredible, how majestic. Yuan Tong could show off, he had the strength to show off. Everybody knew that he was extremely strong. They would gasp in amazement and admiration when they saw him. Most people dreamed of participating to the great competition of Shuiyu but couldn't, they were too weak. The crowd looked at Lin Feng, they were misunderstanding everything. They imagined that they saw fear and astonishment in Lin Feng's eyes. However, Lin Feng actually felt calm and serene. He was absolutely calm. Yuan Tong's words didn't affect him at all. Awesome, said Lin Feng sarcastically. The crowd was astonished. Lin Feng was joking. Great, you're going to participate to the great competition of Shuiyu. That's all, but you still think you can brag about it. You're really ridiculous, people like you cannot evolve further than that, said Lin Feng in a cold and detached way. Yuan Tong groaned and asked, so what? What gives you the right to criticize me like that? I will tell you something, I am Lin Feng from Shuiyu. I have been personally invited by Ruolan Shan to come here to participate in the great competition of Shuiyu as well, said Lin Feng indifferently. People's hearts were pounding violently. Everybody was completely stunned and confused, they were honestly astonished. Lin Feng was from Shuiyu and had been invited to come to Dragon Mountain by Ruolan Shan to participate to the great competition of Shuiyu. He was a genius getting prepared to participate in the great competition. Hua Shiyun looked puzzled, she had just met Lin Feng. She had never understood his behavior and found herself astonished at that moment. But would Lin Feng want her as a girlfriend or wife? Lin Feng was from Shuiyu, he was a real genius. He was going to participate at the great competition of Shuiyu. On top of that, he was much younger than Yuan Tong. Hua Yun's father was sitting on the ground completely stunned, astonished, and shocked. Hua Yun and her father felt ridiculous like buffoons. They had humiliated Lin Feng over and over again, and despised him. But as Lin Feng had told them, they were like nobodies in front of him, less than trash, and he was right. Lin Feng would have never even glanced at their Hua clan if he hadn't met Hua Shiyun. But because Lin Feng had checked their cultivation level with his celestial eyes, they had become furious and tried to plot against him. To think they had wanted to use Lin Feng. Very good, said Yuan Tong while looking at Lin Feng. His facial expressions had changed, it looked sharp at that moment. Lin Feng was also going to participate to the great competition of Shuiyu? Alright, why not have a fight here first then? Surprisingly, people from Shuiyu came to Dragon Mountain. Very good. We can have a battle and see how strong the cultivators from the countries that Dragon Mountain control are. What makes them think they can rival the geniuses of Dragon Mountain, thought Yuan Tong while releasing some monstrous battle energy. He was a genius from Dragon Mountain. He despised the cultivators that came from the smaller countries to participate in the great competition of Shuiyu. The geniuses from the smaller countries couldn't rival with them. Coincidentally, he had come across Lin Feng. Now would be a good opportunity to see how strong Shuiyu was. I will show you, said Lin Feng while releasing some terrifying battle chi. I hope that you will not disappoint me. In the past, the geniuses from smaller countries always died at the competition, especially those from Shuiyu. They have never ended in the top 10. Yuan Tong sounded like he was making a good joke. He wanted to burst into laughter. Those who were really laughing proudly at the great competition of Shuiyu were actually those from the four empires, not those who came from the smaller countries under their jurisdiction. After all, geniuses in the empire were respected by even more people. They had access to incredible skills and cultivation facilities. In smaller countries, it was difficult to acquire such resources. Cultivators from Shuiyu have never ended in the top 10. Lin Feng was stupefied when heard that. This time, he would honor his country and finish in the top 9. There was also the mysterious Duan Wu Dao. Even though there were many geniuses coming from everywhere, Duan Wu Dao ending in the top 10 shouldn't be a problem. This time, the great competition of Shuiyu would be amazing. Are you telling me these things to try and show everybody how amazing you are? Now you must prove it, but if you lose against me, everybody will realize how ridiculous and pitiful you are, said Lin Feng while laughing mockingly. Yuan Tong at first looked glum and then immediately smiled. You're right, only strength can prove how different we are from each other. The genius from Shuiyu will not withstand a single attack, said Yuan Tong in an ice-cold way. He then released a monstrously powerful energy. Some threads of energy were hot like the sun while others were cold like the moon. Chapter 550, Risking One's Life. A moon and a sun pattern appeared on Yuan Tong's body and began to rotate. He raised his hands, in his right hand appeared a scorching hot fire and in his left hand appeared an ice-cold energy. Lin Feng, you have to be careful. His moon and sun skills are extremely powerful. His moon's skill is ice-cold and his sun's skill has an explosive power, said Hujiu Yang from the ground. Lin Feng slightly nodded. He didn't need Hujiu Yang to remind him of that. Lin Feng understood that attacks which used two different elements were out of the ordinary. Even if he knows, what can he do? He can't block my attacks, said Yuan Tong coldly. Do I even need to block your attacks? Asked Lin Feng. He started making pure qi roll around his body and a terrifying qi started burning. The sun was shining upon his body, it was dazzling. In Lin Feng's right hand, a sun sword was appearing and it was diffusing its dazzling light all around. Besides, apart from that terrifying sun energy, Lin Feng was also releasing some terrifying deadly qi and it was becoming more and more intense as it invaded the atmosphere. A black light started twinkling in Lin Feng's left hand. He was condensing a sword. That sword was filled with murderous intentions. It was a deadly sword. Yuan Tong was using both his hands, one for his moon skill and the other for his sun skill. Lin Feng was using both his hands. In his left hand he had his deadly sword which was filled with murderous determination. In his right hand, there was a sun sword which could burn the cosmos. In this world there are many geniuses. You shouldn't think that you are the best in the world, there are others that can do what you can do as well, said Lin Feng. He had two swords, he looked like a death god. His pupils had turned pitch black, the people were shocked. Lin Feng started stepping forwards. Yuan Tong had said that he could only block, but Lin Feng didn't intend to block, he intended to attack. Lin Feng's dazzling sun sword, in his right hand, started moving towards Yuan Tong. It was emitting whistling sounds in the air. It seemed like it could burn through anything. Yuan Tong was surprised when he sensed that sword intent. He started attacking with his right hand. His terrifying sun qi turned into a gigantic flame which bombarded the atmosphere towards Lin Feng's sword. Boom boom boom. When Lin Feng's sword lacerated Yuan Tong's flames, rumbling sounds formed, making the atmosphere shake. After the collision, Lin Feng continued to fearlessly move towards Yuan Tong. Lin Feng's deadly qi began to surround Yuan Tong's body. Die! Shouted Lin Feng furiously. His deadly qi penetrated into Yuan Tong's body, immediately affecting his resolution and determination. That deadly qi had its own life, its own determination. Moon and Sun Level 2. Yuan Tong joined his hands and in front of him. A huge pattern appeared. It looked like a mixture of the moon and the sun, and it was moving towards Lin Feng's sword. Lacerate! Shouted Lin Feng. He didn't move back. His sword could lacerate the 10,000 things of creation. Sirrr! Sirrr! Ripping sounds spread in the air, and the Moon-Sun Level 2 skill got lacerated by Lin Feng's deadly sword. At that moment, nothing could stop Lin Feng's sword. Get lost! Shouted Yuan Tong while releasing some pure qi that bombarded Lin Feng's sword. And then he started moving back at full speed. In a flash, he had moved back of a few meters. He looked depressed while staring at Lin Feng. Are you trying to cheer yourself up by shouting, "Get lost," and moving back at the same time? Asked Lin Feng, still holding his two swords. He remained at his original place, motionless. He was just coldly staring at Yuan Tong. Yuan Tong looked furious. Everybody was fixedly staring at them. They were astonished. Lin Feng had surprised them. He was truly amazing. He was much stronger than anything they could have expected. He looked like a death god with his two swords. He had immediately attacked Yuan Tong, who continued to retreat in their fight. Lin Feng surprisingly had the advantage against Yuan Tong. That young man was amazing. Their souls were shaking. Were the geniuses from Shuiyu really weaker than the geniuses from Dragon Mountain? Didn't it depend on the individual? Now, don't you think those words you were denouncing me with a moment ago feel like a slap to the face? Asked Lin Feng indifferently. Yuan Tong looked defeated. Lin Feng had told him to use strength to justify his pride and arrogance, but he couldn't prove anything. Now, Lin Feng was showing that he was stronger than him. He was showing everyone that he could have acted in an arrogant way like Yuan Tong, but he didn't. Yuan Tong wasn't proving anything. Lin Feng was humiliating him. Yuan Tong didn't say anything. He didn't try to humiliate Lin Feng again. Lin Feng was extremely strong. He could be proud of himself. If Yuan Tong didn't show what he was capable of, he would lose face and would never regain it. His body moved and his spirit appeared in his back. His spirit was composed of two eyes. One was a moon and the other was a sun. They were so dazzling that people's eyes were hurting. You made me release my spirit, don't you disappoint me, said Yuan Tong coldly. He didn't wait for Lin Feng to attack, immediately throwing himself at him. His right hand was moving towards Lin Feng at full speed. It was filled with a terrifying sun energy. The atmosphere was filled with small embers that looked like stars. It seemed like everything was going to ignite. His spirit was shining upon his sun qi, adding a strange light to it. Lin Feng, without hesitating, brandished his sword. But it seemed like his sword was only lacerating the air. The sun qi kept moving towards Lin Feng, and Lin Feng's sword didn't seem like it could lacerate it. Lin Feng, surprised, rose up into the air like the wind. Yuan Tong saw that Lin Feng couldn't move well. It seemed like his moon and sun skill could oppress Lin Feng. Yuan Tong's trajectory followed Lin Feng's, like a curve. The crowd could clearly see that Yuan Tong's spirit was diffusing some strange lights. Destroy! Shouted Yuan Tong at that moment. He moved his left hand and in a flash, an ice-cold moon energy appeared and moved towards Lin Feng. It was extremely fast, it was catching up to Lin Feng. Lin Feng was stupefied and smiled coldly. The crowd was astonished, Lin Feng wasn't moving back. A strange light kept flowing in Lin Feng's veins, it was the strength of the Harukas. Lin Feng made a step forwards and was surprisingly engulfed by the moon energy. Srrr. Srrr. The cold moon chi bombarded Lin Feng's body. A dazzling pitch-black light started shining, it seemed like it was blocking that cold chi from penetrating into his body. Even though Lin Feng's Haruka strength was monstrous, in the light of that moon and sun skill Lin Feng could feel some ice-cold energy penetrating into his body, it was piercingly cold. Lin Feng was shaking. But Lin Feng continued determined and resolute, he was moving at an incredible speed. The sword in his right hand abruptly moved and attacked Yuan Tong's spirit. Srrr. Srrr. The sun sword immediately penetrated into the moon sun spirit, causing Yuan Tong's body to start shaking violently. Ah! His soul felt extremely painful, he gave a horrible shriek that astonished the crowd. Lin Feng was insane. Die! Yuan Tong joined his hands, and his moon and sun chi moved towards Lin Feng, bombarding the atmosphere. Lin Feng still looked tenacious, he released some deadly energy. The killer sword in his left hand lacerated the moon and sun chi. At the same time, Lin Feng kept the strength of the Harukas rotating. He was very close to Yuan Tong. Die! Shouted Lin Feng furiously. All the strength of the Harukas was in his hand and he was punching at Yuan Tong's head. Yuan Tong moved his hands back and started retreating. Boom, kacha. Lin Feng's Haruka strength could rotate 4,000 times, it bombarded Yuan Tong's bones. After Yuan Tong retreated, Lin Feng didn't aim at the head anymore, he aimed at the chest. Yuan Tong's body was blown away. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.